Plumbing. That's Benz.plumbing.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke Ewart. And Brooke Ewart.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
All right, let's do this. Let's go. It's the Brock and Salk Show. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com, Seattle Sports app, podcast platforms, 97.3 HD2, all of the various ways you can find us, listen to us, and hang out with us every morning or maybe later in the day if that's your chosen preference. I mentioned the app, and now's a good time to go download it if you haven't. I've reminded you a few times before. It's not like this is the first you're hearing of it, but you got to go download the app so that you can leave us messages for Here's the Thing, which will be tomorrow at 8 a.m. And Maura likes to put those together, 10:30 today. So you probably want to try to get those in by later this morning so that Maura can do her job and get those ready for tomorrow. We'll play them at 8 o'clock. And remember, they're just little voice messages for us. You can make fun of us. You can, give a serious comment on something happening in the world of Seattle sports. It's kind of whatever you want to do. This is Maura's baby. It's Maura's brainchild.
I don't really put the serious ones in there very
You
often,
don't?
but you can do that.
Do we ever get any serious ones?
I mean, just mostly like venting about the Mariners and stuff.
Is that the only thing people vent about? Just the Mariners? There's nothing else to vent about here in this world? It's just the Mariners, unfortunately.
I'm sure we'll get some Seahawks ones if they keep having a rough patch here, too.
Here's an example, just so people know kind of what we're looking for.
So here's the thing. You guys had insert guest name here on the show? Wow.
Right, so that's making fun of Brock for his name-dropping problems. Here's another.
Here's the thing. That was a really good batch of messages. And starting to feel a little like Salk on his high school basketball team if they were to have traveled to the inner city and watched those kids during warm-ups. Yeah.
I mean, that one's a little weird. Maybe I shouldn't have played that one. I don't know about it. I wasn't expecting the inner city drop in there. But yeah, there have been some Mariner ones like Thomas.
Here's the thing. Rooting for the Mariners is like watching the Titanic and rooting for the ship.
Yikes.
That's actually not really true, though. I was thinking about that one later. That's kind of like not like the ship's going to win. Rooting for the Mariners isn't like rooting for the ship. Rooting for the Mariners, is sort of like rooting for the people that die.
Sinking to the bottom of the ocean, a win for the Titanic?
Well, it defeats the people.
It defeats them.
Right?
I feel like it's freeing itself.
All right.
I guess there's a lot of interpretations.
I've never seen the movie. I thought the ship made it. No, the ship doesn't survive and make it to the end of the movie. Anyway, those are some of the types of things. Here's an impression of me taking phone calls. It's too long, but I'll play a little of it.
Here's the thing. One of the things I love most about Brock and Salk is when Mike always goes, all right, we're going to do calls in here on the show. And I love doing calls, love hearing from you guys. It's always amazing. If I don't have to work for an hour, well, my goodness, I don't have to work for an hour. I'd love to do that. You know what I mean? And then you get a call in and the guy's like, hey, I was just wondering why do you think the offense doesn't look as good as it used to in last night's game? Big fan, first-time caller. I'll take your comments off the air. And then Mike's like, I appreciate you guys calling in. I mean, you're an idiot and you're a moron and you don't even understand football in any way, shape, or form. But
so those are the types of things.
We left a follow-up version last week that was also very funny, but yeah, they're like almost 2 minutes long, so we didn't get to it.
It's just too long. Yeah. Sorry, Levi. You gotta find a way to make those a little bit shorter. Also, was Peter Griffin calling our show. It's sort of what it sounds like. I appreciate the impression. But yeah, keep it coming. You got to go download the app, and then you can leave us messages that way. I enjoyed getting to go yesterday to the first Kraken game of the season. This is a great time of the year, sports-wise. It really is. You got the NFL now in full swing. Baseball playoffs, postseason was again awesome yesterday. I was into every single shot of Grimace getting to the ballpark yesterday. I'm all in on the Mets and Grimace. It's great. You know why? Because it's organic, because it's natural, because it's not forced, because Mets fans are just having fun and embracing it and sort of being what Mets fans are.
Okay, because I was going to say we need to find a Grimace for the Mariners.
Can't do it. It's not how it works.
But we can't find our own version.
Can't do it. It's not how it works. You don't get to just go find a Grimace. That's the Mets thing. They found it naturally. They found it organically. And when you start winning, when things happen the right way on the field, Grimaces happen too. As silly as that sounds to say. And if you guys don't know, this started, months ago, right? Grimace came and threw the first pitch at a Mets game. They won. They went on a streak. They started, Mets fans being insane and wonderful, started, essentially ascribing credit to Grimace for the success their team was having. And, fast forward to yesterday, yada, yada, yada. Grimace is like on the train to the game. Apparently they cut away on a screen before two Grimaces started making out in the ballpark. Like there was a lot of Grimace action yesterday. One of my best friends from college, Dave, his 8-year-old is Mets obsessed, along with Dave. And they were there yesterday. I got a shot of William with Grimace. Super big smile. And then the Mets go and just beat the Phillies again and now stand one game away from making it to the NLCS. I don't know who they're going to see there, but if last night was any indication, there's another good chance it's going to be the Padres. And we'll see if the Dodgers don't falter again. It's amazing. Amazing how every year their starting pitching gives up once it gets to the postseason. For all that conversation about, the Mariners are built for the postseason, the starting pitching. I mean, the Dodgers have built ridiculous rotations every year, right? In addition to all the money they've obviously spent on their lineup. And every year, it doesn't seem to do for them what they want it to in the postseason. Yesterday, Walker Buehler gave up 7. Padres just absolutely torched him early. He settled down and was at least able to give them some innings. And, our old friend Teoscar Hernandez hit a grand slam, which kept them in the game longer. But it's just amazing how the Dodgers just have not been able. I mean, Kershaw, for all of those years with the terrible postseason record, it just, for whatever reason, hasn't translated to the postseason the way you would expect it to. So I was, what you got? Lyle, that look in his face, like, wait a minute, Salk's pitching a narrative here, and I'm not sure the facts back it up.
Well, they have a lot of injuries going on. They do. Right? Like
100%.
Glasnow's hurt. Gavin Stone's hurt. Kershaw's hurt. Yamamoto just came back.
If only Kershaw was there, that's probably what they could have used here in this postseason. What's his postseason RA? Like 7.5?
All right, so just go with Glasnow and Stone then.
They have had injuries. You're absolutely right, and you can't predict those, and they come and they go. But I think the point still holds. Your point is right, and I think mine still holds, which is it's crazy how every single year we're having the same conversation about the Dodgers. And look, they're not out yet. Maybe they win the next 2 games and come back and beat San Diego. Like, you still got to take it if you're the Padres. But it is remarkable how many times this Dodgers season has happened. It feels like they're on loop. I guess you could maybe just argue it's baseball because that's the way these things go sometimes. Once you get to the postseason, it can be a lot more frustrating. Let's see. What else do we want to get to this morning? God, there's so much football stuff. Obviously, Seahawks stuff we'll be doing today. And Brock's got a little game at 7:30. I spent a while this morning kind of reading, listening to, watching, etc., the commentary on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets and Robert Saleh. And I really like the show that precedes us on ESPN Radio. I really do. I think those guys do an awesome job. I've known Evan Cohen a long time. I think he's great. I've known Michelle Smallman for a while. I think she's great. And so I like some of the debates and stuff that they bring up. And one thing that Evan had was, why didn't Aaron, if the centerpiece of all of this is Nathaniel Hackett, right? If Robert Saleh was wanting to fire Nathaniel Hackett And the way people seem to think this went down, soap opera-wise, Aaron Rodgers stood in front of his guy, Nathaniel Hackett, who apparently he's willing to die for, and said, no, I want Saleh gone instead. And that's what happened. Ownership moved on from Robert Saleh. That's sort of the story that everybody's going with. And his thought was, why didn't you just do what Brady did with, what was the guy's name, Alex Guerrero, who was sort of the centerpiece of the similar fight with Belichick.
His TB12 partner.
Right, just hire him yourself. If he's so important to you, just hire him yourself. Jake Heaps, Alex Guerrero, like we've seen that before. And I think the answer is because because Aaron Rodgers, he didn't care about that. I don't think
because Hackett is an actual coach.
That's part of it.
I mean, Jake Heaps is he's Russell's quarterback coach, so he could work his way into coaching, but he's not an NFL coach, and Alex Guerrero's not an NFL coach.
Here's the thing, though. I don't believe that you're right, and still I don't think that's it. I think the difference is that for especially Tom Brady, maybe I shouldn't have brought Russ into this, but for Tom Brady, I do believe, honestly, that winning was the most important thing. And that when he wanted a guy like that around, it had something to do with wanting to win. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe Aaron Rodgers cares more about other things than winning, specifically being in charge. I think Aaron Rodgers cares more about doing it his way than he does about winning. I think he's shown that time after time. He's given us his own examples. It's not like you need to find other people. Rodgers himself was the one who told the story about making the coaching staff come out so that they could hang out outside his house and laugh about how, oh, ha, 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 I was with my, Shrakra or whatever the heck he's with, his shaman, while these guys are out there on PCH hoping to get into his house. And he thinks it's hysterical because he pulled a power play. Aaron Rodgers cares more about the power play than he does about winning football games.
Or when he missed mandatory camp this year because he was in Turkey or wherever.
I have no doubt about this. I don't know that I've ever felt more convicted about anything I've ever said on the air in my life. I think Aaron Rodgers cares more about power play and power games than he does about winning football games. And the fact that the Jets kowtow to that is the most typical Jets thing I've ever seen. And that's why they are where they are. I hope they lose every game the rest of the year. Maybe they'll win because Aaron is talented. Despite his insanity, the man is very talented. And if he finds a little fountain of youth, yes, the Jets could still be just fine this year. Probably won't be, but they could be. But I really do believe he cares more about power than he does about football.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
A short week, right? They have 3 games in 11 days.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
360 says Bump. Just a few tweaks here and there, and they're 5-0. No time to panic. I don't think anyone's panicking. You're not going to go undefeated. You're going to lose minimum 4 to 6 games. Typically, an NFL team loses. But when you drop 2 in a row, you have to search for answers. I think against the Detroit Lions, better offensive line, you're missing a whole bunch of guys on the defense. Adjustments will be made.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Paid political announcement. A Bob for Bob update. Public school is for other Bobs. Did you know Attorney General Bob Ferguson sends his kids to a private school while denying Washington parents opportunity scholarships to do the same? We spend $18,000 per K-12 public student in Washington, but for Bob, private education is for elites like him, not for your kids. Want a governor who doesn't believe in the public education system he promotes? Vote Bob. Paid for by the Bob for Bob Committee, 1283 Puyallup, Washington, 98371. Top 4 donors, Steve Gordon, Fremont Dock Company, Brian Haywood, and Susie Burke.
What's up, everybody? Michael Bump is here. Are you looking for quality fencing? Look no further than Contour Fence. Locally owned and operated and serving the Puget Sound area since 1984. They specialize in residential and commercial fencing solutions, as well as fence repairs. Visit contourfence.com to learn more about their services and use the code HAWKS10 for 10% off any repair or replacement. Schedule a free consultation directly on their site. Contour Fence, your trusted partner in fencing solutions. Visit contourfence.com today.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing, since 1917.
Hey Seahawks fans, Tyler Lockett from Brown Bear Car Wash. We've got the perfect play for a spotless car. With the Unlimited Wash Club, you can keep your car game ready all season long. It isn't clean unless it's Brown Bear clean.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah. And with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
My Seahawks jersey is more than just a piece of clothing.
It's a symbol of the unique spirit of my city.
Creating a sense of community and belonging.
A bond uniting us and a love for the game.
This is my jersey.
This is my jersey.
This is my jersey.
This is the Pro Shop. You can find your new favorite jersey at the Seahawks Pro Shop. Shop online at Seahawks.com or visit us at the Landing in Renton or Lumen Field.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, and as you know, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm honored to partner with the Harnish Auto family and the Carol Milgar Breast Center in the fight against breast cancer. For every test drive this month, they'll donate $25 on your behalf. Simply visit any of their 6 amazing dealerships, including Subaru, Volkswagen, and Chevy Buick GMC of Puyallup, or Kia and Chevy of Everett. No purchase necessary, just take a spin and make a difference. It's the Harnish Auto family, where people matter. This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, not the news anybody wanted, but Chenna Nwosu is expected to go to IR with his thigh injury. Not great news for the Seahawks, and really kind of calls into question a second season now for Chenna. You know, made his way back, maybe came back a little early, got injured now twice this year in 2 different spots after the big injury last year. Just a huge bummer for a guy that, you know, they kind of invested in on the edge. Can they survive without him? Of course. But a healthy Chenna Nwosu certainly makes them better. Just unfortunately doesn't look like it's going to happen here for some time. Yesterday's practice, just a walkthrough, but there was some good news. Boy Mafe, Rayshon Jenkins, Farrah Brown, all listed as full participants. The same four guys did not practice, including Derek Hall, Byron Murphy, and Reek Woolen. Ryan Grubb spoke with the media yesterday and did talk about his own role and some of the challenges Seahawks offense had last week.
Part of the offense is certainly to have an aggressive nature and keep the pressure on the defense. I think there's also a point, obviously, when the defense is on the field, you have to find ways to generate to hold the football, and we've done such a good job of that up to this point, and that was part that, it was getting to that point where we were just out of rhythm. We weren't out there for a long time. I couldn't get him back into rhythm, and the run game could have helped us, and I should have gave it a better opportunity.
I like that he talked about the run game, and we'll play some more of that sound coming up at 7 o'clock. He took full responsibility for the 5 carries that Kenneth Walker had, and he's right. Kenneth Walker's got to touch the ball more than that. He's too good a weapon. He's too good a runner. There's just too many good things that come from giving him the ball, and I'm sure that will happen this week. It's a huge game tomorrow night. I mean, you really... This is why you brought in Mike McDonald, right? To do battle with the brains in your division like Kyle Shanahan. Gino knows it's a big game.
We know how big this rivalry is. These are, predominantly two of the better teams in the league over the past 10 years, and it's always going to be a slugfest. And so, like I said, we respect those guys. They have some great players on their side, and they're proven. And, as far as we go, we've proven ourselves as well. But it's a big-time matchup. It's a big-time matchup. Great players all over the field, and, a lot to be excited for.
It'd be pretty cool to see them rise to the occasion for a big-time matchup like this one.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, it was a good start for the Kraken, honestly, other than, a 2-minute stretch in the second period where they gave up all 3 of their goals. They started off hot. Excellent first period. They had a ton of high-quality chances, couldn't score. They managed to do so twice in the second. Vince Dunn with the first of the year.
Matty Beniers is right behind him, and they get a chance. Dunn motors in, and a save. Rebound, score! Vince Dunn starts the scoring in Seattle.
Yeah, Ellie Tolvanen had one a few minutes later. They had a 2-0 lead, and then they had that 2-minute lapse. They gave up a good goal, a soft goal, and a bad goal, and that was it. They fall 3-2. But there were 2 pretty cool moments at the start of this one. One, Jessica Campbell received a huge ovation. She became the first woman behind the bench as an assistant in an NHL game. Here was part of ESPN's piece on that during the game.
History being made today as Jessica Campbell makes her regular season debut behind the bench as the first ever full-time assistant coach in the NHL. And I think head coach Dan Bylsma said it best. While it is monumental to see a woman behind the bench in the NHL, he was just trying to hire the best coach, and that was Jessica. She started playing college hockey at Cornell before winning multiple medals in international play with Team Canada. She worked her way up as a coach, eventually landing in the AHL's Coachella Valley alongside Bylsma, and she has said while she is honored to be the first, she does not plan on being the last, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and she received a nice ovation yesterday. The other story coming out of that is Jordan Eberle named the team's second captain in its history after the position had been vacant since, late in its first season. He was wearing an A during warm-ups, but then switched to a C jersey for the game. He is deserving. Not necessarily the best player on the team. That's not how it goes, but he is the right guy for the job. Larson, Schwartz, Gord will all continue to wear A's for alternate captaincy. Matty Beniers added to that list this season as well. Good, very good for him as well. They're off until Saturday. They play then in Minnesota.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Can anything stop Grimace? Can anything stop the Mets?
Got him. And this amazing run for the Miracle Mets shows its most dominant performance of the playoffs so far.
Yeah, they win yesterday. I never would have believed that a team in the biggest media market in the country with one of the wealthiest owners and a gigantic bloated payroll could become a lovable underdog. But here we are. That's exactly what's happened with these Mets after making the playoffs on the last day of the season. They are 1 win away from the NLCS. They beat up Philly yesterday. Got to Aaron Nola in the bullpen while Sean Manaea was really, really good. Had a nice outing. In the West, Padres and Dodgers did all their scoring early. Padres took a 7-1 lead. Teoscar hit a grand slam to make it 7-6 in the next frame, and then the pitching took over from there. Shut it down. San Diego's got a chance after the win now to end that series today at home. In fact, all 4 series continue today. You'll get 4 postseason baseball games all over the course of this day. Pretty cool. It's everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Yeah, I'll be kind of tuned in and checking those games over the course of the day. And 2 of the series 1-1, the other 2 were 2-1. I mean, so everything is close and interesting and a good battle and evenly matched. It's been a really great postseason so far with a lot more to come. So
it's that time of year where you have to figure out what you want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know. Have some way to put 4 things on at once.
Yeah, I mean, today will be
multi-screen.
Tomorrow it'll get harder, right? Tomorrow's the Seahawks, so it makes it kind of easy. Like if it was just a football game, then you have to sort of figure out, but it's the Seahawks, so obviously that's going to take precedence over postseason ball from other cities. But yeah, I mean, today is great. You get one after another, after another, after another. When baseball does this can be a really fun time of year. All right. Chris Peterson joined us yesterday. There are few guests that make you think as much as Coach Pete does, and he certainly got our minds racing yesterday. Stick around. You'll hear it next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Thursday Night Football.
The ball pops out. Coming to the near side is Jenkins. He's coming down the field.
The Seahawks have a short week to prepare for their first divisional matchup.
He's going to skip to Ballou, my darling. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Tomorrow night, the Seahawks take on the 49ers at Lumen Field.
And nobody saw Gino take off and run, and he goes for 32 and a first down.
Kickoff at 5:15. Pre-game coverage starting at 2 on your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
Get ready, because it's here, now. One of the biggest heavy equipment and truck auctions of the year. Produced by the Murphy Auction Company, this 3-day event features a huge assortment of heavy equipment, heavy trucks, cars, vans, SUVs, and tools. Like 5 Cat 140H graders, 9 telescopic forklifts, 13 diesel-powered excavators, 6 wheel loaders, 3 skid steer loaders, and a 2009 John Deere 850J dozer. Also find 4 Peterbilt 365 Super Solo dump trucks, 1 Mack Super Solo, and 15 other dump trucks. If you need a tractor or a Vector, we got those as well. And for homeowners, if you're looking for a gas-powered excavator or wheel loader, we got over 140 to choose from. For contractors, builders, heavy equipment operators, and homeowners, this is the auction not to miss. Visit murphyauction.com for all details. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. True Work is the most technical workwear in the world, delivering modern solutions to timeless job site challenges. Innovation meets tradition in True Work's high-performance lineup of work pants, shirts, and jackets, all engineered to give you the comfort and protection you need, especially in the most extreme conditions. Check out the full lineup with over 50,000 five-star reviews at truework.com and use the code SPORTS15 to get 15% off your first order. That's TRUEWERK.com. True work helps you be your best when the weather's at its worst.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours. The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Breaking news. Contrary to popular belief, now is the perfect time to break into real estate. Educated investors everywhere are buying tax lien properties, something big banks have been doing for years. Now, people in your area can take advantage of this open secret. Tax Lien Wealth Builders is coming to Seattle this weekend for a live event where you learn how you can make real money buying and selling government-backed investment properties for 50 to 70% below market value. Learn how to buy and sell property and navigate the market like a pro at our 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle this weekend. Tax Lien Wealth Builders gives you the tools you need to invest confidently. Get a free wealth building kit when you register and attend a 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle. Text WEALTH to 52346. Hurry. With high demand, seats will fill up. Text WEALTH to 52346. Get a free wealth building kit now. Text WEALTH to 52346.
Hey, Brock Heward here, and I have had my share of sports injuries, and I know a little bit about pain. Well, that's what football will do to you from head to toe. But you don't have to play professional sports to know what I'm talking about. Painful joints from arthritis can affect anyone and make it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that's where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine comes into play. He has seen so many patients through the years suffering from chronic joint pain caused by arthritis. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Don't let pain stop you from enjoying life. Consider Dr. Nelson the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. That's right, your own stem cells and platelet-rich plasma to harness your own body's healing potential. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Yeah, NFL news this morning, if you're just joining us. Robert Saleh let go as the head coach of the New York Jets.
Aaron Rodgers elevated to player coach.
Yeah, he's going to pull the Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
When it's all said and done, who will be more disliked, Aaron Rodgers or Pete Rose?
Probably Peter.
Pete Rose.
Probably Peter Rose.
Right, Pete Rose. Yeah. Aaron's going to give him a run for the money, at least with a certain segment of people. Chris Peterson kind of takes some time with us right now. Let's talk some football with the coach. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you fellas?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. You know, it's nice Washington Husky win. We'll get to them and the road trip to Iowa and everything else in a second. But, you know, it's not fun to watch your local Seahawks team lose a couple games in a row, and especially lose the way they have defensively, Chris, right? Just kind of getting run on and pounded and not having any answers defensively. You're the head coach of the Seahawks. What's your messaging yesterday morning?
Yeah, you know, I think I really like listening to Mike McDonald. I don't listen to him like you guys do, but every time that I have had a chance, I really like his thought process. I mean, he's so analytical, so methodical in terms of figuring out what the next move is. You know, I think you listen to a lot of coaches and it's like, we need to do this, we need to do that. You know, it's like, it's gospel. Like, I know exactly what we need to do. And sometimes it's not that simple, and you're figuring it out as you go. And because it's a combination of who you're playing and what you can actually do. You know, I know it's a tough situation that they're in right now, just with their injury situation. And, you know, I always think that, like, I knew I could feel the Seahawks fans jumping up and down. We got the Giants coming in, and Daniel Jones isn't playing that good. They don't have Saquon Barkley. And I'm thinking, just watch. Just the NFL is no joke in terms of this parity. and just the professionalism that those guys play with. You know, if you don't show up with your fastball, you know, you're going to get beat. And so, you know, just those guys being so new, a new staff, they're still establishing their way, their identity. And it's just not a clean process, because when you don't have all your pieces on either side of the ball, you know, when it starts with the O-line, D-line type things, I mean, it's going to be tough sledding. I mean, it's going to be tough sledding. And you know better than anyone, Brock, that the NFL is just so unforgiving. The parity in that league, I think, is what makes it, you know, so unique, which is different than college football. You know, I think the difference with college football, when you see these upsets, you know, it's never any one thing, but if we're going to generalize, you know, I think it's the parity in pro football that makes it so darn unique. Yeah. And I think in college football, it's the competitive maturity, you know, that you just see the ups and downs and the emotions of the game and these 18 to 22-year-old kids, that it's just, you kind of shake your head. But, you know, you've been through it enough with those guys. You just know how that sport goes.
Well, and maybe that juxtaposition makes this question a little difficult to answer, but you went in your career. Do you know your record in your career?
I don't.
147 and 38. That's your career head coaching record. Did you, during that time, that's a spectacular percentage. How many times do you think you lost 2 or 3 games in a row? It couldn't have been many, right?
I don't think it was many. But you know, the thing about this is, the one thing that I know, and you guys know this too from talking to coaches, is that you remember
right.
so many of those losses. And that's what it comes back to, like, that you learn it's so painful. It is so, I don't know, you know, if there's any business out there that is as painful as the coaching thing at major college football or in the pros, and maybe because it's the scrutiny that comes with it, that you already know you didn't take care of business, and then you have all these other people like telling you your business, and sometimes you can't be 100% honest because you don't want to throw anybody under the bus, and so it's really a painful situation. But what you do is you truly learn so much more when you lose than when you win. There's just, I mean, you're digging for every morsel, every scrap of information of like, well, what if we fix this, or what if we get this done? And there's just a different vibe when you win. And when you win comes the confidence, and confidence is cash, and that changes everything, but you're not learning as much. And so I just know this, as painful as it is to lose, they're learning a lot more. And I just like Mike McDonald's mentality. Every time I hear him talk, he sure doesn't sound like a first-year coach, and he doesn't sound like a young guy that he is. He sounds like a guy that is like a deep thinker and is not going to jump to conclusions, and then simplify the game as much as he can into the black and white, which the game is not played. It's just shades of gray. But he presents it that way to his team, and then you got to just work through it on the field that way.
Did you feel like, Chris, you had to learn how to get your team to that emotional fever pitch?
You know, I think.
And I'll let you think about that for a second, because you talked about the competitive, maybe maturity and immaturity with 18 to 22-year-olds. I feel like the NFL, because it's a 17, 18, 20 game season, there's this, okay, I got to get through this. I got to pace myself. You know, do you really get to playing with an absolute razor's edge emotion? And those teams that do that, and you watch Kansas City last night just find a way, and defensively they got guys that understand how to do that, to ramp up, to get themselves really ready to play. Because I felt like the Giants were there, they were desperate, they played with that desperation, and it just felt like the Seahawks were catching everything, and they were not the ones playing with that kind of edge. As a head coach, did you feel like you learned things to get your team ready to that moment to build to that kickoff?
I think when you're, getting the guys so lathered up, there's certain games that kind of take care of themselves, rivalry games, or, this is the team in our league that's doing really well. There's usually 3 or 4 in a college season that you're like, you don't really have to say anything. And in fact, I might go the opposite approach of not trying to fire them up. Like, we need to play with more controlled energy. And then there's a couple games that, yes, you can push some of those buttons to really get them juiced up. But I think you're right. In the NFL, like, the season's so long. As the older I got in terms of that, I kind of shied away from that because I don't want to make it about them. I want to make it about us and just us playing at our best. And I think the players hear enough and they know enough, like, this team's really, really good. Like, this is going to be a big game, or this is the rivalry game. And so if we can kind of just stay in our lane where we just like, what did we learn? How do we improve? What did we learn? How do we improve? How do we recreate that game in practice? And that's easier said than done. But I'll tell you this, I mean, the shorter season, and it's interesting, when we lost a handful of years back, we played at Arizona State. They had a bye. We were supposed to have a good team. We were playing on the road. We had a couple good games back-to-back. Everybody knows that UW would struggle down in the desert. I mean, I pounded our guys so hard. I laid out the facts and how UW had done in the desert. We played these games. They're sitting on a bye. This is going to be the game of this season for them if they can beat us. I mean, those kids are nodding. I got them. They're with me all week long. And so I know, like, we are going to bring our fastball. And we get into warm-ups, and I'm like, uh-oh. I mean, I could just feel the energy not being where it needed to be. And it was like they knew, and I'm thinking, okay, don't overreact on this. You know, you're not winning the game in warm-ups. Let's just go play. And sure enough, we were just off that game. And so that's where the talent has to take over. Like, that's why when you have better players than the other guys, you're going to do better in the long run. It can't be all about coaching because you have to get through situations like that.
Coach Chris Peterson with us here for a few more minutes on Seattle Sports. Coach, why is it so hard to commit to the run? Every year. I got to commit to the run. We got to do more in the running game. We got to do this. And then I watch these games. This isn't even a Seahawks question or Husky. This is just in general. I find somebody who loves you as much as an NFL offensive coordinator loves to throw the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, who doesn't like to throw the ball, huh? It just seems so much easier than smashing it inside up the middle. I mean, I do think that, you know, most offensive coordinators, I probably knew one in my lifetime that really didn't want to run the ball. And when they scored running the ball, was not very happy about it. And that was our buddy Mike Leach. I mean, I'm not kidding. He's the only guy I think I knew that really did not. And he would come out every game the same, and he'd run the ball a little bit to test you and, like, get his runs out of the way just to say, hey, we do have a run game. And then he just wanted to throw it everywhere. But I think every coordinator really does want to run the ball, and you're always testing the water there. I mean, you know, I know that about – I think there was a comment last night. I was paying attention a little bit to that Chiefs game, and they said that about Andy, you know, Troy Aikman was saying that about Andy Reid, that, you know, this guy is always about throwing the ball, you know, with Dak Prescott and Donovan McNabb back in the day in Philadelphia. Like, he was known for throwing it in that West Coast offense and throw it all over more than run it. But he's always going to keep testing the water, because if you can't stop the run, he is not going to get off that. And I think that's how most offensive coordinators think. It's just harder to stop it, to run the ball. Every defensive coordinator, their whole life is set up around, okay, first and foremost, we got to make them one-dimensional and stop the run. I mean, that's where it all starts. So it's just going to be harder to do that. I don't think they don't want to do that. It's just harder to do.
Hey, last thing for me here, Coach. Compare and contrast the trend, the upward trend, and I guess right now for Jed Fish in Washington, and a couple tough losses for Mike McDonald, but just kind of compare and contrast year one for both of those guys establishing their own programs.
Just real quick. We got like a minute and a half. You should be able to handle that quickly.
Yeah, 27, 26.
No, I just want to laugh first because I've listened to you guys, like the first couple weeks that Mike Macdonald's Seahawks could do nothing wrong. They're the greatest thing ever. And now it's like, well, I'm not so sure about these guys. And then, the first couple is like, well, where'd Jed Fish come? And now it's like, he really knows what he's doing. He put these guys together with no players. And so it's just, like it is work in process. And I think
that's the understatement.
That's so good about what we're seeing at Washington is you can see the growth.
Yeah.
You can see them improving. And that's what's beautiful. I mean, you just felt like you felt bad for them because you can feel like they have more meat on the bone. And you knew it. And you could feel it almost coming into the Washington game. It's like they're improving. This is going to be the game where they might get over the hump, and they did. And I think every coach wants to know this. Are we improving? That's what they're asking and feeling week to week. And at the end of the year, like what you really want to feel like, did we get close to reaching our potential with the guys we were playing with? And it's a different team than you thought you were going to play with because of all the injuries and the things that happened. And those are the two questions. And when you do that, even if your record, maybe you didn't go to the Super Bowl, you didn't go to the playoffs or whatever, if you in your heart feel like, man, we coached these guys as good as we possibly could, they bought in, we were all in together, and we really got close to that potential. And you don't have many seasons where you feel like, we maximized it. But every now and again, you have a handful of those over your career. And those can be pretty satisfying as well, because that's the only stuff you can control. Are we improving? Are we getting to our potential?
You know what? I didn't even ask that question, but as you were speaking, I had Jonathan Smith last week. We had Oregon, or Michigan State, Oregon. And Jonathan Smith, we asked him, Benetti asked him something, or I did. And he's like, you know what? You know what I learned from Chris Peterson? The most important thing is how you're playing at the end of the year. To just build step by step by step and make sure, especially when you're establishing a new program, as he's doing in East Lansing, as Mike McDonald's doing with the Seahawks, as Jed's doing on Montlake, just to make sure that you're playing better at the end of the year than you did the beginning of the year. And, he quoted the great Chris Peterson, and now I got to share that. So there you go.
Well, Coach, those are a lot of good answers, and thankfully the answers were so good, you don't have to hear me ramble on and on about how much I hate kids storming the field.
Oh, good.
Which is nice. This is the gift. That's our gift back to you for what incredible answers you had.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of with you a little bit on this storming the
Thank
field.
you.
I mean, it's like, do we wait till the end of the season when we win that championship, or, now there are a few.
Yeah.
Now, okay, let me ask you this, Saul. Let me ask you this. What about Vandy?
Absolutely. Storm away.
Yeah, okay.
You're Vanderbilt. You beat Alabama. You're not supposed to do that. But my problem with Washington storming the field when you beat Michigan is it's an admission that you're not at their level. That's when you're supposed to storm the field. When you
Appreciate you, Coach.
When
Thank
you
you
beat
so
the
much for
biggest,
your
baddest
kindness.
guy on the block, you storm the field. Otherwise, you're telling the world you're not as good as them.
So I think you're reading too much into this. This is a bunch of drunk college kids that just want to get down there with the players and rub elbows with them and have a good time and try to get on TV. That's what that's about.
I can't imagine what that would be like. Having never been a drunk college student, that doesn't make any sense. Coach, thank you. We appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right, guys.
I can't believe you embarrassed Brock in front of his friend like that.
Oh, I always try to. Yeah, that's part of the job. Yeah, trying to embarrass Brock in front of his friends whenever I can. He's probably right about that last point, by the way. He's probably right. It is just about drunk. I know that on one hand. I know that it's just about drunk college students who just want to get down and be near the players and get on TV. Those are like hallmarks of the modern culture, right? How can I get on TV? How can I make people notice me? How can I get on the Jumbotron? How can I be near celebrity?
Or how can I get down on the field and take videos, photos for social media?
Exactly, that too, right? How can I take a selfie of me down there? 100%. I totally, on one level, understand that that's what's happening. And then this other part of me is just like, yeah, it's still embarrassing.
That's the old man part of it.
Yeah, maybe, but it's just the part that says, like, storming the field used to be special. It used to be authentic. It used to happen in the big moments when you would have a truly gigantic upset. And I do think, and this is not just about storming the field, and maybe this is an old man thing. I'm willing to own that. But I think it's like a wisdom gained with getting older thing also, which is, when you do some of these things too much, more is not always more. it takes away some of the excitement, some of the uniqueness of the truly meaningful moments. And when you try to make good moments into great ones, I think it takes away a little bit from the true specialness of those great moments. But whatever, do whatever you want. Go storm the field. Go embarrass yourself. What do I care? Right before that, we had the little conversation about, Mike McDonald and where he's at, and Brock asked the compare and contrast, and coach is kind of going through like, oh, it's everything switched here in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, I don't think I'm sitting here saying Mike McDonald doesn't know how to coach. Quite the opposite. I feel really good about what he's done, where he's going, etc. But, and I wrote about this last night. You can read it this morning up at seattlesports.com. I think this is a really big week for him. Not like, I don't mean it's like a must-win game, but this is in some ways his first opportunity to deal with adversity. He hasn't had to do that yet, right? I mean, like, there's been all these starts to the Mike McDonald era. When he got hired, when he started hiring his staff, when he taught the, offense and defense to the players, like in his case, more the defense, when they started training camp, when they had their first preseason game, when he had his first game, like all of these were big firsts for Mike McDonald. And he's passed all of those quote unquote tests with seemingly flying colors. But we all know that the true mark of a head coach is how they handle adversity. And that's what is about to come. They've lost 2 games in a row. They got a huge game against a division rival. How do you handle these things? Can you be as consistent? Can you be as authentic? Can you, scheme your way through it? Can you make the adjustments you have to make? Can you remain, can you continue to hold yourself accountable without making the team think that you don't know what you're doing? Can you continue? What did he just? Brady sort of described him as as more of a disciplinarian type in that column that he wrote, which was great article. That's one thing when you're winning. How does that play when you've lost 2 or 3 games in a row? So look, I think he can do all those things. I'm really impressed with him. Impressed with his ability, his maturity, his intelligence. All of the things that everybody has said about Mike McDonald sure seem to be true. There's another test along the way. You've lost 2 games. How are you going to handle these adverse moments? And, what does your team look like as it comes out the other side? Mike Garafolo talking about essentially that.
Mike McDonald's situation as a first-year head coach, and this sounded a lot better when they were 3-0, but as a first-year head coach, apparently has impressed folks with how locked in he is. Like, everything is kind of really on point. Hadn't shown things that you would expect of a rookie coach where he doesn't really understand the flow just yet. He'll figure it out. Like, he's been locked in as if he's been a head coach for 10 years. So this is a key spot for him. Short week with this team coming in. Let's see how the Seahawks respond.
I think it is a key week for him. I do. I don't know if it dictates the rest of the season. I mean, let's not put more onto it than we need to. But, for 2 reasons. One, McDonald was brought in here to face Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, right? Like, isn't that part of the whole deal here? Some of it's the long term and what he can do with the organization. Like, that stuff's huge. That's not like it's only about coming in to face those 2 guys. But one of the main Fire Pete Carroll arguments was you just need more horsepower, more scheme horsepower in going up against these 2 offensive genius juggernauts in Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. Okay.
So we are who we are, and we don't change our approach for other teams thing wasn't working.
It wasn't enough.
You're getting out schemed
by
these guys.
They've lost, 5 straight times or 5 straight years now to the Niners or whatever. I mean, yeah, okay. So it was time. Fine. Well, here's his first chance. He's going to get 4 of them this year against those 2 guys in particular. Here's the first one. So in that regard, a huge game for Mike McDonald. But I also do think that, the ability to remain true to who you are. What was it he brought up this week? The difference between principles and methods. Stay true to your principles, change your methods as appropriate. Yeah, it becomes viewed through a much more intense magnifying glass by his players after a couple of losses when everybody gets a little pinchy.
Well, and I think this becomes much more difficult because it's not only a key moment for him, but this is a huge game for the Niners, too. I mean, Nick Bosa yesterday didn't even skirt the issue when they asked him. He said that there's a lot of pressure right now. They've lost 2 division games already. They need this win.
They need it. They are going to be desperate. They are missing players. 100%. So you're going to get their best shot on Thursday Night Football. The one advantage you have is that it's at home. You're both coming off of short weeks, although you're coming off of 2 short weeks. Like it's set up for you. You shouldn't be at any extreme disadvantage. And this is his first opportunity to go against these guys. This should be something he's been preparing for since the moment he was hired. So, yeah, I am pretty excited about it. And I want to see how that accountability, how his demands on the players, how all of that goes through the middle of a little losing streak here as they've lost 2 in a row for the first time in his career. So going to be a blast. Psyched for tomorrow night. Excited to see how he weathers this storm. He's been a really interesting figure to watch, talk to, and discuss this year. And this will be the next chapter in that tomorrow night. We'll come right back. Brock is here. One of McDonald's top lieutenants did something he absolutely needed to do yesterday. The question is, will he take the next step? That's coming up next on Brock and Salk.
After their second loss of the season, the Seahawks still hold on to the division lead.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Next up, the Hawks host the 49ers on Thursday Night Football.
Jackson Smith-Njigba. His defender lost him. Geno found him.
A win will solidify their spot atop the NFC West.
With all of that adversity, they put themselves in a position with a minute to go.
You got to look for ways to move on and improve so we can go make it right on Thursday.
When you play the Niners, so you have to be disciplined.
It all happens here on Seattle Sports.
After years of wear and tear, Joe had osteoarthritis in his wrists and shoulders.
I've pretty much worked out my whole life. I actually decided I'm going to train for a half Ironman triathlon.
The pain was interfering with every part of his life.
Basically, can't sleep, causing those kind of problems, very limited movement.
Joe had surgery, but it wasn't the fix he was looking for.
The doctor told me, he's like, hey, this is just going to be a partial fix. You're going to eventually need joint replacement.
That's when he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
And they're just getting better. I can basically do full motion. I don't have really any pain.
What kinds of things are you able to do now that you weren't before?
I like to golf, and it definitely has made my golf game not as painful. And sleeping. I mean, I'm sleeping better because I don't have that aching at night going on and having to roll over.
So, are you recommending this to others?
Oh, everybody I talk to. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
When a product is made better, it lasts longer. Sounds simple, but Toyota of Kirkland wants you to know it's actually savvy. With Toyota's certified program at Toyota of Kirkland, you can score a high-quality, low-mileage Toyota at a great price. Talk about savvy. The tremendous team at Toyota of Kirkland has plenty of certified inventory for you to come see, test drive, and take home all in the same day. Now that's truly savvy. Visit the Savvy showroom at Toyota of Kirkland today or toyotaofkirkland.com.
Want to listen to Seattle Sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle Sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Hey, Seattle, Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Call Techline Roofing and trust the team I trust. With the strongest warranty in the business, Techline Roofing has you covered. That's TEKLINE roofing.com. Trust Techline.
Transform your home from top to bottom with State Roofing. Hi, it's Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. It's not just about a new roof, it's about a new look for your entire home. Deck out your backyard or give your exterior a facelift with our siding and window options. And there's no better time to start than now with our incredible offer. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Why wait to make your dream home a reality? We do more than just roofs. Visit stateroofing.com. Let's talk about what's possible for your home.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry.
Check out video only.
Hey there, Brock Heward with some huge news. The Federal Reserve has just cut interest rates by 50 basis points. That's half a point. That's more than what the markets were expecting, which means more savings for you. And if you're up at night feeling stressed and feeling the pinch of high-rate credit cards or personal loan payments, now might be the perfect time to consider a cash-out refinance with Tila Mortgage. You see, for over 25 years, Tila has been helping the good folks right here in Washington State save money by lowering their rates and monthly payments. You can unlock the equity in your home and pay off that high-interest debt. Consolidate your bills, reduce your monthly payments, and free up cash for what matters most. TILA, spelled T-I-L-A, is Washington's trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice, so don't wait. Call TILA Mortgage today at 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or...
TILA Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker, NMLS 2472046.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when intended to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
If it's hot, it's here. The best new stuff is at GNC. GNC brings you some of the best new products first from brands like Optimum Nutrition, Ghost, Bloom, and more. GNC has the newest breakthroughs in muscle building, weight loss, and wellness, and the best energy drink flavors. If you heard about it at the gym, you can bet that conversation started at GNC. Ask a coach about the newest drops at your GNC store or shop our full collection online at gnc.com today. If it's hot, it's here. GNC.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Get his freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to accuse you of minutes.
It doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Nice to hear Sherm's voice. He will play a role in the Madden Trivia giveaway we've got coming up here in 30 minutes. So if you know your rivalry, if you know your 49ers from a Seahawks perspective, you may want to start getting yourselves ready to get on the phone lines here in 30 minutes as Brock has another copy of Madden to give away to a contestant who understands and can name can answer some good Niners trivia.
Degree
Brock,
of difficulty of my questions. What do you think?
I didn't think they were that hard.
Oh, okay.
I think this is one of the easier ones, but
Yeah.
I've been surprised by a few of these contests with what we think is easy. So
I feel like these are very easy.
But I think
Too
it needed
easy.
to be because last week's was too hard for
It's very possible. Yes.
Last week was too hard. Didn't we have that guy get 4 out of 5?
No,
on the other
he got 2 out of 10. I mean, he did okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it.
Well, I mean, you're playing sound of video games from the 70s. I mean, last week was a little
70s?
difficult. Sure.
You think that stuff's from the 70s? I think that you maybe have the wrong view on what all of those.
Don't you
role-playing
even
games
open it
are.
up. Don't
I'm
you
not.
even-
I'm not. I have other stuff to do. I want to play you the sound right off the bat today.
Great.
It's not Brightwing or anybody from that ridiculous game. No. This was Seahawks offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb yesterday asked about Ken Walker only getting 5 touches.
Got to get the ball to Ken more. And I think we had plenty of run game in the plan. Didn't have anything to do with not having enough calls for that. Just didn't get it called. And for us, we leaned on the wrong thing. And I think if we get Ken 10 more touches, 15 more touches, things are going to look different. So that's 100% on me. And my job is to make sure I get all our guys in the best position possible to win the game. And I didn't do that.
Wow. I mean, Blue 88 come early. I mean, this is going to be a Blue 88, so we're going to have to figure out a new Blue 88, but that's just fine. Because
that's just the story of the day. I mean, just him coming out and saying that is unbelievable.
Well, that's what he's done. I mean, do you remember, you don't remember, the Arizona State game last year where Arizona State was the only team that really got after and distressed and hit and pressured Penix, couple picks and like sacked him and pressured him, and they just did not have a good plan for that game. And Ryan Grubb after that week did what? He did exactly that. He's like, this is on me. I didn't have a plan good enough. I didn't have him prepared. I didn't get to the things that we needed to get to and do my job. And this is what you get in this guy, and I think it filters down from the head coach, right? I mean, that Mike McDonald's blunt. He's forthright. I think he's pretty darn accountable as well. And
Very much so.
That had to be that had to be music to the ears of all of those guys in the locker room, because that's the epitome of what I said to you. I think you asked me yesterday or the day before in tough times, what are you looking for in your coach? That we're in it. We're in it, and if I didn't do my job well and I got Ken 5 rushes, that's never going to be good enough for that caliber of player. So, yeah, that's teaching tape right there for accountability.
I really liked it, and that I think is going to be incredibly important for this coaching staff in particular. I found myself yesterday, I was writing about Mike McDonald and writing about this new test that I think he has this week after his team lost 2 games for the first time. And, how you deal with adversity is a big part of being a head coach in the NFL. We always knew this was, even during the first few weeks while everything looked great, part of the judging mechanism of a coach is to see how they look in times of trouble. Mm-hmm. And I went back and I was looking at Brady's piece that he wrote at 3-0. And he's talking about McDonald's early efforts to instill that accountability, right? How he chewed out players for failing the conditioning test. He brought up the issue in front of the rest of the team, his demands for accountability, his desire to be the enforcer. That style can be immensely effective, right? I mean, I've always wanted to play for, when I was a kid, I wanted to play for people that were like that, that yelled and screamed.
Hardest coach you ever played for?
The hardest coach I ever played for?
Hardest coach you ever played for. Most demanding, most difficult coach in any sport.
I never really got one.
You never had
I had like 1 or 2 at like camps, like a basketball camp for a week.
Interviewing
Bill
Belichick for a year?
Yeah, I mean, that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But no, I unfortunately, Brock, never had. I always wanted one of those coaches, and I never got one, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I never had a coach that was like that. I wanted one.
Mm-hmm.
You?
Oh, I think Pops was pretty high up on that list.
Yeah.
He demanded and worked and got after you, but would turn around and put his arm around you and have a relationship with you.
Of course.
And,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Not looking for someone to be a dictator,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, I did want somebody who was harder and more strict with the team, et cetera. And I never got that at any, of the not very good teams that I was on. Maybe there's a connection between those things, or maybe they were just bad because I was on them. Who knows? But all of those demands for accountability and being the enforcer, yes, it can work, especially coming off of, the exact opposite situation that was here before it. But how you handle and how you do those things during tough times becomes a whole lot, more magnified. It's one thing to, go after, chew out a player when you're winning or when nothing is happening before the season starts.
Yep.
It's another when you're losing. So I'm very curious to see now how this goes.
Yeah, I think that is also just football 101, a little reflection of realizing, geez, we're down Murphy. We're down, this last game, down Mafe and Murphy and guys getting banged up. And, what we can't do? We can't have a minute and a half drive. Our defense just on the field for 10 minutes of their own accord.
Yep.
Couldn't get off of it. Couldn't stop a 3rd and 17 screen. Couldn't stop 3rd and 8 scramble. Like, it's of their own accord. But you know what? This is a time of the year where we don't have all our horses. Where we're going to have and pretty lean in that defensive front, where right now our linebackers are having a hard time. Dotson is a first-year full-time starter. Maybe showing a little bit why, the market was a 1-year deal for him, and maybe showing why he's a little more of a situational guy than an early down guy. So we got to also do our part and protect that defense a little bit, right? And this isn't the week 1 defense. This doesn't have everybody. And so we've got to make sure we've got a 3, 4, 6, 7 minute drive, limit possessions, limit how much exposure some of those areas right now that aren't as strong.
Yeah, it's interesting. You and I are sort of taking it from 2 different points, right? I mean, you're looking at it from the on-field perspective. Take that accountability because it's what needs to change on the field. And I'm looking at it also in saying, well, yes, and also the just the off-field coaching leadership style. It's a lot easier to do when you and your staff are in it, as you've said, with them.
Yes.
Yeah, we've made mistakes too. I'm not sitting here blaming the players. I mean, I may go on during the meeting and explain all of the problems with how you handled it out on the field, but I'm not going to the media burying any person publicly. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm going to sit here, and my coaching staff's going to sit here, raise our hands, and say, here's what we didn't do enough of. I think it's great. I think this is absolutely how you go through and weather the storm when you're losing and you want to be more of a disciplinarian style coach. Put those two things together. Again, I'm still very, very high on Mike McDonald. Nothing in the last 2 weeks has changed that for me. I think this is exactly how you succeed with a style that he's got.
Yeah, and when you're new to it and you're the first time, it's kind of like that old Adam Lind. Was he the first baseman? The old guy that when I was asking him about service and all pumped up as I usually get, his Hope Springs Eternal down there in Peoria, and just salty old vets like, oh, we'll see how Scott manages a bullpen.
Yep.
You know, like for the older players in there, Salk, for even the younger players in there, like, okay, let's see how we handle this, when we lose 2 in a row. Let's see how we handle this on short weeks. See how we handle this when we got dudes down. Do we fret? Do we stress? Do we worry? Or do we maintain that level of consistency and accountability throughout?
Don't you have some line about pressure and diamonds and something else?
Oh, yeah.
What's your line?
Oh, that's the great Mark Jones line. What does pressure do? It busts pipes and it makes diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it does.
That's what I needed for my column last night. I wish I'd remembered that.
Why didn't you just text me, sweetie?
I
you were mad at me because the doctor was totally on your side? Is that what it was?
No, I didn't say that.
I don't really trust him anymore because my doctor's right. He was wrong.
I didn't say that.
My doctor scoffed at low T. I don't have low T.
He was trying to think of something with hobgoblins in it instead.
Uh-huh.
I was taking NyQuil and just trying to keep my eyes open for as long as possible to get that thing written.
Pipes makes diamonds.
There you go.
Pressure.
One or the other. Okay, let's see. We got a bunch to do today. Brock's got
7:30.
7:30.
Make diamonds. Let's see what we got.
49ers Madden trivia.
Bambling, bobbling, Bob. Yeah.
All of these people should
Bob.
do well on this. This trivia is very easy, honestly. And it's coming up in 30 minutes. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We didn't play the way that we needed to play to win. All the things that we talk about in terms of execution, fundamentals. You should feel these losses. You should sting, should hurt, should motivate you to keep moving, keep working, and get better. Especially a week like this, you can't sit around and sulk. It's okay to be upset, but you gotta look for ways to move on and improve so we can go make it right on Thursday.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, and you see it all over sport. The calendar turns to October, and it's time to have cancer awareness. And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month for my friends over at Harnish. And the need for research and treatment just goes on and on. And that's why we've teamed up with the Harnish Auto Family and the KIRO Milgar Breast Cancer Center to make a difference. And there's a couple ways that you can help. One, just simply go test drive any new or used vehicle. That's right. Just go test drive any vehicle at any of their 6 amazing dealerships. And Harnish is going to donate $25 on your behalf with absolutely no purchase necessary. Another way is to go get an oil change or any other service done, and Harnish will once again donate on your behalf. Plus, well, you'll love the friendly team and how easy we make buying a vehicle. So don't wait. Go visit my buddy Ward. He's a great coog up there at Chevy of Everett. Go see Eric Butler. He's so much fun at Kia of Everett. Sace at Chevy, Buick, GMC, and Volkswagen of Puyallup. Great dude. Yeah, and Ryan's got energy for days at Subaru of Puyallup. And mention I sent you. Let's make a big impact this month and help out the KIRO Milgar Breast Cancer Center by the end of October. Simply visit the Harnish Auto Family. Harnish Auto Family, where people matter.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing since 1917.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 10/13/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Cressy Garage Doors. Make your home unique and stylish. Have it stand out from the other homes in your neighborhood. The #1 return on investment for your home. Cressy Garage Doors. Since 1952.
Message and data rates may apply.
Breaking news. Contrary to popular belief, now is the perfect time to break into real estate. Educated investors everywhere are buying tax lien properties, something big banks have been doing for years. Now, people in your area can take advantage of this open secret. Tax Lien Wealth Builders is coming to Seattle this weekend for a live event where you learn how you can make real money buying and selling government-backed investment properties for 50 to 70% below market value. Learn how to buy and sell property and navigate the market like a pro at our 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle this weekend. Tax Lien Wealth Builders gives you the tools you need to invest confidently. Get a free wealth building kit when you register and attend a 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle. Text WEALTH to 52346. Hurry. With high demand, seats will fill up. Text WEALTH to 52346. Get a free wealth building kit now. Text WEALTH to 52346.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
What's one of the biggest issues when you're trying to hire a roofing contractor? Are they going to do what you hired them to do? On time, on budget? Asset Roofing knows in addition to putting the premier roofing system on your home, the most valuable things they can provide to you are communication and transparency. I encourage you to check out and see what Asset Roofing is all about. Head to assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Seahawks getting ready for a big one tomorrow, their first division game, and of course it's against the Niners. Of course it's in prime time. Of course it's the second short week in a row. Geno Smith ready for it.
Yeah, we're locked in. We're locked in. We've, 24-hour rule. We already passed that game. That's already done. We can't do nothing about it. But we're locked in for our next opponent, our next opportunity. And like I said, man, it's a big game. Everyone is excited. I know I'm excited and can't wait to get out there.
He's right about all of that. Unfortunate news yesterday. Seahawks expected to place Uchenna Nwosu on IR with his thigh injury. I mean, I guess luckily for them, that's one of the few that have gotten to that point. But you're looking like you may see a second lost season here for Uchenna.
I sure hope not. I sure hope not. I hope that is a 4-week deal that he can get himself back to health. I will talk about that in a little more length and in Blue 88. But yeah, that's a bummer. The more I think about it, though, honestly, Mike, I think this is advantage Seahawks. I don't know if I'd want to play San Fran on a whole week. Not with some of the challenges that's going on right now, with some of the personnel. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, his staff is tremendous. They're going to scheme. They're going to have as good a plan as they can possibly have in just a couple days of work and practice, but especially having them at home. We know the challenge of these Thursday night games, especially for the opponent that's got to travel and go play and lose even more time in preparation. That if you were to come off of a game, sure, you'd love the Raiders or the Browns, totally dysfunctional. But if you're going to see the Niners twice, seeing them when you've been stung a little bit, seeing them when you're a little frustrated and pissed off, and seeing them on a really short week.
Is that they're sort of in the same boat, right? They've lost 3 out of 4. They're desperate. So, yeah, it's an interesting spot, I think, maybe for both of these teams. Boye, Rayshon Jenkins, Pharaoh Brown all would have been full participants yesterday, so there's definitely some good news there. NFL media continuing to marvel at the Robert Saleh firing in New York, Brock, especially with the report that came out yesterday that he had been on the verge of firing Nathaniel Hackett when Aaron Rodgers apparently stepped in and was like, you don't get to fire my boy. So you mentioned player coach yesterday. Is that where we're at?
Kind of feels like it. I mean, kind of sounds that way. Now, I don't know if he's going to fire him. I think he was going to demote him from play calling duties and elevate Todd Downing. And Aaron Rodgers once again said, nope, not going to happen. But we all saw this brewing. You knew this was coming, personality-wise. And in fact, the biggest sign was there in the offseason during the mandatory period when Aaron stepped away. And that was the crack.
Let me ask you this question. Serious question for you. I said, or I think you know how I feel about this. Yeah. Which do you think Aaron Rodgers cares about more, winning or power?
Control.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, he seems to power control, however you want to phrase it. He sure and this is the difference between him and some of the other quarterbacks at that level. Brady cared more about winning.
Yep.
I think he cares more about control and power and embarrassing other people, and I just think it's pretty rotten. By the way, Russell Wilson finally healthy. So do we have a question of who starts this week in Pittsburgh? Sure seems like it. Fields has been okay. He's been okay. Certainly not enough to say that job is definitively his, so maybe we'll get a chance to see Russ in another uniform this weekend.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Other than a really bad 2-minute stretch, it was a pretty good start for the Kraken yesterday. They had a really good first period. Second period, they scored first with Vince Dunn getting the first goal of the year. Eeli Tolvanen was just a couple minutes later.
Shots are 6-zip Seattle here in the second period. And they win the ozone faceoff. Worked along for Riker. Evans score! Eeli Tolvanen was in front. Evans shot from the point gets through. 2-0 Kraken.
Yeah, a couple of really nice goals. And then they gave up 3 goals in 2 minutes, and that was how it ended, 3-2. A lot of similarities to, unfortunately, some of the problems we've seen from this team over the last couple of years. But they did look good. They did look more physical. They did.
Anything jump out to you as you were there and watching? Anything strike you with a new coach? And kudos to the assistant, right? I mean,
Jessica Campbell had her first game, which was awesome. First female assistant ever to coach a game in the NHL, and that was awesome news. Jordan Eberle got the C right before the game, Brock. So the way they did it was cool. He was out wearing the A for warm-ups, and then they gave him the captaincy right before the game started. So he came out with the C in his chest, which is awesome and well-deserved. Matty Beniers got an A for the first time, which is nice for him and shows his leadership at a very young age.
A dumb question, what's an A?
Alternate captain.
Alternate, so C is the captain.
C is the captain. You've got, this team has 4 A's. Gotcha. Larson, Schwartz, Gord, and now Matty Beniers.
And Eberle, the first in franchise history.
Second. Remember, they gave it to Giordano right off the bat, which was dumb.
Yes.
And then they traded him at the deadline the first year. So the captaincy has been empty since then. I think you and I both realized that he was the captain the day we talked to him, remember? And he said that he had his locker right between Matty Beniers and Shane Wright.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, yeah, that's what you call captain. Whether you put the C in his chest or not. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not going to try to read too much into the first game, but hopefully they play more complete 60 minutes than they did yesterday.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Brock, the power of Grimace is unstoppable. I think it's fairly safe to say. There's nothing you can do about Grimace. The Mets just barely made it into the playoffs, and they are just on a roll. Another win yesterday as they take a 2-1 lead. They are 1 win away from getting to the NLCS. I mean, like, how does a team with one of the biggest payrolls in baseball and one of the richest owners in one of the biggest
underdog?
cities turn themselves into a lovable underdog?
Yeah.
It's amazing, but
Grimace.
they are.
Yeah, you get that pear-shaped little body running, not even little, pear-shaped body hopping around, getting everybody excited.
You like that shot I sent you of Grimace on the train jumping up and down, and the fans are all into it. Pretty amazing. And then Padres Dodgers, I'm sure we'll get quite a bit on this from Daniel Jeremiah when he joins us at 8:30. 7-1 Padres early as they just continue to batter starting pitching. And then Teo hits a grand slam to make it 7-6, and then no more scoring for the rest of the night.
Yep. Go Padres. Go Padres.
All right, all 4 series continue today. So that should be a pretty fun day of baseball. That's everything you need to know. And we do a quarter past every hour here in the Brock and Salk Show.
I did have a little conversation with Benetti yesterday and talking about Iowa, Washington. Got some Washington players today. And I kind of told him about, the end of our show yesterday. And just, what do you think is going to happen with this? Is it a copycat league?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, just be careful.
Right.
Because baseball has already hinted at some of these changes they're going to make, right? The double hook with the DH and, making pitchers pitch a certain amount of innings. Like, I wouldn't.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. I don't know how much.
But the flip side of it is, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, like how many times have the Dodgers built these rotations only to see them get to the postseason and struggle? And I was thinking about that in response to your Lefko's thought the other day about the Mariners having a postseason style roster. I mean, look, the Dodgers are like a super team that were compiled in a totally different way, but it is amazing how some of their starting pitching has not done what it's supposed to do.
Well, I think Passan would tell you, and I think he rattled off the
this
7
year they've been
starters.
hurt. I know, but it's not just this year. I mean, the only year they won the World Series obviously was the COVID year, and certainly, Clayton Kershaw's struggles in the postseason have been well documented, and he's not the only one. So.
Well, we've had struggles on this show. Particularly at 7:30. I mean, we've had lousy Larry from Hanford. I mean, poor guy. Yeah, poor guy. Then we had the tow truck driver, Bobby. Bobby was just bumbling and stumbling his way. He couldn't answer a question
He had
right.
his own issues.
He was speaking. He was self-talk, so negative to himself
We had the
as well.
kid with his dad.
Rocco. Yeah, Rocco was solid, but we've had some failures.
Right.
We've had some struggles, like the Dodgers rotation.
Today,
Can we get two great, smart?
Yeah, we don't need them. We don't even need 2 great ones today. These questions are so easy. Anyone could do this. Wow. Honestly, these questions are so easy.
Wow.
Even a barely functional fan should be able to answer these questions. So Brock's got another edition of a Madden game for you if you'd like to play Madden for free.
Xbox or PS5, whatever you want.
Whatever's your preference. Be one of the 2 callers at 866-979-3776. We've got some 49er rivalry trivia in order to win these games next on Brock and Salk.
Thursday Night Football.
The ball pops out. Coming to the near side is Jenkins. He's coming down the field.
The Seahawks have a short week to prepare for their first divisional matchup.
He's going to skip to Baloo, my darling. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Tomorrow night, the Seahawks take on the 49ers at Lumen Field.
And nobody saw Gino take off and run. And he goes for 32 and a first down.
Kickoff at 5:15. Pre-game coverage starting at 2 on your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
Well, are you waking up here on this Wednesday morning in early October really looking and needing a local, trustworthy group of pros to assist you with your finances and your mortgage needs in particular? Well, Brock Hewitt here, and you can count on Tila Mortgage. They have been the go-to mortgage experts in the state of Washington for over 25 years. Many have opened and closed their doors during that time, but not Tila. And if you're 62 or older and you want to learn more and you've heard about reverse mortgages, well, Tila can help you decide if that's the right choice for you and your planning and your family. If monthly payments are just impacting your credit score and killing your cash flow, well, yeah, that interest rate cut a month ago was sure a nice deal because it can assist you in consolidating your debts with proven programs like a refinance loan or a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. Additionally, Boy, if you wake up this morning and you're in the process of purchasing a new home, TILA can guide you through the ins and the outs of a new home loan as well. With hundreds of 5-star reviews, TILA, spelled T-I-L-A, is a trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. Give them a call this morning at 206-766-8888 or TILAmortgage.com. 206-766-8888. TILA Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. MLS 247-2046.
Get ready, because it's here now. One of the biggest heavy equipment and truck auctions of the year. Produced by the Murphy Auction Company, this 3-day event features a huge assortment of heavy equipment, heavy trucks, cars, vans, SUVs, and tools, like 5 Cat 140H graders, 9 telescopic forklifts, 13 diesel-powered excavators, 6 wheel loaders, 3 skid steer loaders, and a 2009 John Deere 850J dozer. Also find 4 Peterbilt 365 Super Solo dump trucks, 1 Mack Super Solo, and 15 other dump trucks. If you need a tractor or a Vector, we got those as well. And for homeowners, if you're looking for a gas-powered excavator or wheel loader, we got over 140 to choose from. For contractors, builders, heavy equipment operators, and homeowners, this is the auction not to miss. Visit murphyauction.com for all details. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Hey Seattle, Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Call Techline Roofing and trust the team I trust. With the strongest warranty in the business, Techline Roofing has you covered. That's TEKLINE roofing.com. Trust Techline.
When the hot water needs to be hot, when the drain needs to drain, when the toilet needs to flush, you need to do 2 things. Stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical. On call and there when you need them most. 1-800-FREAKIN or beaconplumbing.net.
Do you wrestle with your CPAP machine every night? Tired of lugging it through the airport and on vacation? Hi, I'm Dr. Nick Kugler with the Washington Center for Sleep. We specialize in treating sleep apnea with CPAP alternatives. My patients have ditched the CPAP and get restful, healthy sleep every night. If you're tired of wearing a mask to bed, let us help you. Visit us in Seattle, Bellevue, or at wasleep.com. That's wasleep.com. Sleep better, feel better. That's the Washington Center for Sleep way.
You want to talk about this program? You really want to do this?
I do.
You really want to get into this?
Yeah, I got some questions.
All right. Well, I got answers.
The Brock and Salk Show is brought to you every day by Simply Seattle.
Research shows well-maintained trees significantly increase home values. So there is such a thing as a money tree? Find your next money tree at Big Trees, Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. So while money doesn't grow on trees, reap the benefits of a yard landscaped with trees and increase your property value at the same time with Big Trees. For hours, directions, and to find your money tree, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
It's Fight Night, live boxing at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. A full evening of boxing action, Saturday, October 19th. Make it a destination event. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this evening of pure excitement. The best in professional boxing. It's Fight Night, October 19th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Please game responsibly. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
These questions are so easy, Brock. I honestly, if people get these wrong, I've got nothing.
I see what you're doing here.
I got nothing. No, they're easy. They're pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 425 saying, "Hey, this is Bob Dog. I heard you guys talking about me. Am I ever going to get a chance to redeem myself?"
No.
Probably not. No.
No,
I mean, like
one shot.
Yeah.
No, you got one shot.
I mean, like, I guess if you were to somehow call in at the right time and get back on the air, but
I do like that
probably
instead
not.
of like Larry texted in and called himself Lousy Larry,
Right.
that he went with Bob Dog.
Yeah,
trying to
Bob
give himself
Dog's
a
he's
cooler.
trying to redeem himself. He wants to clear his name. All right, well, we got two contestants today, Brock, to
Okay.
try to win another Madden game, Xbox or PlayStation, if
Yes,
I'm not
sir.
mistaken.
PS5 or Xbox,
Let's
yes.
meet our contestants, starting with Todd, who's in Yakima. Good morning, Todd.
Morning.
Todd, what's the go-to at Miners? What's the go-to at your Miners order?
I don't go to Miners.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, dump him. Get Bob on. Get
No,
Bob on.
we got Todd. You're going to have to deal with Todd.
You don't go to Miners, huh, Bob?
You're breaking Brock's
Todd?
heart.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, well, yeah. No, I'm over it.
Okay.
Stop and go.
Okay. All right.
Minor was the answer to a Wordle over the weekend, and
Oh.
Justin was saying he was literally thinking about driving there to get a burger after
Yeah.
that. He
Well,
was
during
stuck in his
COVID, we
head so
did.
bad.
Remember that? During COVID, we packed up the family and we just drove over and got
do
burgers
kinda
and fries
remember
and
that.
shakes and drove right on back and
Yeah.
had the time of our lives. Todd, tell us
Time
a
of
little
your
something about.
life.
Oh yeah, Todd, tell us a little something about yourself. Height, weight, age, job, whatever you got.
5'9", 190, 62, and I'm a utility worker.
All right.
Okay, all right.
All right, Todd. Hang on. Let's get to meet our other contestant, Jonan in West Virginia. What's going on, Jonan? Good morning.
Country roads,
Jonan?
take me home.
Do we have Jonan?
Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Jonan, are you there, Jonan?
Brock, you're gonna love this. I somehow
You
I don't
hung
know
up on Todd.
I'm here.
how because I put him on lock.
Oh my gosh. Are you trying to?
No.
You hung up on Todd?
I did. Yeah, you got to
What?
open up the lines again more. I hung up
Oh
on
my
Todd. I didn't mean to.
Salk.
I know. Well,
Only
let's,
Todd call back.
yeah, let's get to meet Jonan first. Jonan, good morning.
Hey, how's it going? You didn't lose me?
No, we're not going to dump you. But are you listening on the app or something? How are we doing this in West Virginia? What's cooking?
Oh, I'm listening on the app. I listen every morning. I'm a big fan.
Wow.
Been listening since you guys started.
Jonah, do you know your football? Like, do you know your Niners, Seahawks? Like, do you know football? Do you feel good about this?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Niners, Seahawks, I got this. And Salk said I just need to be, what was it, an adequate fan? Something
Barely.
Like that?
You just need to be like a barely adequate fan. Like
Just
if you're
breathing.
if you're barely functional, you should be fine. Okay.
I'm barely functional.
As long as you're
barely
barely
functional.
functional, you should be just fine.
All right, we have Todd back.
All right.
Also, in that process, I answered, and it was Bob.
Of
He's
course it was.
relentless.
He
He was
is
like, "You got to put me on." I'm like, "I'm
Bob
trying to
wants
talk
in.
to Todd right now, Bob."
Is that Todd on line 3? Is that right? Okay. Todd, you there?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
here.
I'm sorry. That was my fault. I
That's so
take
messed
All
up.
right, Brock. tone
Okay,
it down.
play the music. Let's go. Enough of this.
We don't have music. You just
Yes.
need to ask the game. You
No,
got this.
we thank you. We got a little music. This is a game show. You kidding me?
All right, guys, this is how it works. When you get the question, say your name. That's how we know to call on you, and you can answer.
Okay, let's practice. Let me hear it. Let me hear it, Todd and Jonah. Let me hear your name, nice and loud. Huh?
God.
Okay, good.
Okay, that was good. They got it.
Okay, Jonah, you got to really yell, man. My ears are. I've lost some of my hearing. Question number 1. Here is the highlight. Can you play me cut number 16
Yeah, I
if you
got
wouldn't
it.
mind? Get this whole thing going.
I'm
Here
ready.
we go. Let's go.
Kaepernick, end zone, Crabtree, broken up, picked off. This game is over. Knocked in the air, intercepted by.
Which Super Bowl MVP caught Richard Sherman's tip interception in the
Jonah.
Jonan. Not Jonah. He's in the Whales.
Jonan.
Hey, Malcolm Smith.
All right.
Okay.
Nice job, Jonan.
It's Jonan, Saul.
Oh, I have a funny story about that one.
No, we don't have
You know,
time
my
for
brother
that.
actually-
No, we don't have time for that. Okay, question 2.
on that play.
Say that again. What'd you say, Jonan?
He wet his pants when he caught that. My brother.
Your brother peed his pants. Your brother peed his pants. Was that in West Virginia as well, or was that out in the Northwest?
Sounds like just a regular day
That
in
was
West
out in the
Virginia.
Northwest. That was before West Virginia.
I love it.
That's just has nothing to do with the tip. It's
Okay.
just a day in West Virginia.
Okay.
He's out at the outhouse.
Jonan 1, Todd 0. Multiple choice question for question number 2. Or Salk, do you want to do some of
No,
these?
you
We
go
can go
ahead.
back. Are you sure?
You're good.
Okay. All right. Question number 2. Which of these coaches was not a head coach of the 49ers during Pete Carroll's 10-year tenure in Seattle? Which was not someone that Pete faced off against? Chip Kelly, Jim Harbaugh, Mike Nolan, Kyle Shanahan.
Jonan.
Jonan.
As Mike Nolan. He was not a coach for the Niners.
Wow.
He was, but not during the Pete era, that's for sure.
Jonan's hot. Todd, are you still there? Todd, are you there?
Todd, you okay?
Yeah.
Todd.
Yeah, no.
Todd.
Okay.
Take it easy. I'm still here.
Okay. All right. I got you.
I had a feeling after the Miners Burger thing that Todd was not going to compete very well. That was just my gut.
That was...
Well, because you wrote the questions, Brock, and you're so obsessed with that place that I figured that you guys just wouldn't be on the same page.
Okay. All right. You feel like I'm handing Jonan?
No, I just think that you and Todd just don't, you don't vibe.
We don't get along? All right, Todd, prove Salk wrong. Here we go. Question 3. Short one. Be ready. In what city do the 49ers play their home football games?
Jonan.
Goodness gracious, Todd.
Is it Santa Clara?
Santa Clara.
Todd, you are getting wiped. You're getting wiped.
I'm going to be okay. I'll be able to live with it.
Make me play a kid.
Are you getting cocky, Jonan? What did you say?
I'm just glad you guys aren't making me play a kid like that other guy. I feel guilty.
Yeah. You don't mind taking down a 62-year-old utility worker over there in Yakima, some hard-working guy that's working his butt off to keep people... Huh?
Not as guilty as the kid. A little guilty. It's not as guilty as the kid.
Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going to play a little more sound for you.
I got it.
Okay, here we go. Play the sound first.
Richard, let me ask you the final play. Take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like...
Oh.
Who was Richard Sherman? Yes, Todd.
Are you Aaron Andrews?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
Todd,
What, Jonan?
Hold on.
Why don't you listen to the question?
Let me finish the question. Who was Richard Sherman talking about in the LOB in this post-game championship club? Sorry, Todd.
All right, Todd, you already answered. You don't get a chance to answer again.
You got electrocuted. I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
Jonan?
Oh, wait. That was Michael Crabtree.
That's Michael Crabtree.
Wow. 4-0.
4-0.
What do they call this in golf, Salk, when you're playing match play and it's like tie, or you
That's
you got to win
5-4.
every hole? You got to win every hole?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to win every hole now, Todd. You got to win every. I mean, I appreciate you jumping in there. I love the aggressiveness.
Bring it. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. Todd's getting fired up. What is Brock Purdy's draft stature often associated with? Multiple choice. Mr. Irreplaceable? Mr.
Todd.
Todd.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Oh, he's up off the mats. Nice job, Todd.
Hey. Don't you sweep me, Todd said. Don't you dare put me on the same list as Lousy Larry and Bumbling Bob. Don't do it. Way to go, Todd. Way to step up your game.
Bob would prefer if you referred to him as Bob Dog.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bob Dog. Lousy Larry and Bob Dog. Okay, here we go. Question number 6. You're still alive, Todd. Still alive. Got to answer all 3 to try to tie it up. Ooh, that's a good one. Again, multiple choice for you. Trying to make it easy. Which 49er tight end did Cam Chancellor knock into another universe?
Jonan. That was Vernon Davis.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Jonan is on it.
Salk.
I mean, it's over. I told you these were easy.
Too easy?
I think they're way too easy.
Let's see if Todd can close the gap.
I have a question that you didn't put on there. Do you want to see? You want me to ask it to see if we can get a stump them?
Yeah.
Which 49er coach is this?
You and me talking. Just give me a name that you think would be good as an offensive coordinator. What if I throw a name out?
Yeah, well,
Mark Trestman. It's someone you might know, right? That's maybe the best you can give me?
Yeah.
What 49ers coach is that?
Jonan.
Jonan?
Is that Jim Harbaugh?
Nope.
Ooh, not Jim Harbaugh.
No, it's not.
Jim
Let me play you a little more.
You can get a guy who's pretty excited about being a defensive coordinator and a chance to win with that group.
I mean, that'd be fair to say.
That's fair to say?
Yeah.
All righty. So you probably look more in that direction then?
I wouldn't say that.
All righty. You wouldn't say that?
I would not say that. I wouldn't say it either.
Todd.
Yes, Todd.
It's Jim Tomsula, isn't it?
Hey,
There you go, Todd.
Dang, Todd knows his stuff. Now, let's see if Todd can make it a game. It's 5-2. Let's see if he could even it out and make it 5-4. Which coach is not a part? Which current coach in the NFL is not a part of the Shanahan tree? Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDonald.
Jonan.
Jonan.
Mike McDonald. He did not come from that tree.
No, he did
That's
not.
a dominant effort right
That's
there by Jonan.
6-2. Yep, 6-2. Okay, last one. He may join us tomorrow. I was chatting with him yesterday. Who will be in the Amazon booth tomorrow night with Al Michaels? Who is the color analyst with Al Michaels on these Thursday night football games on Prime?
Todd. Herb Street. Herb Street.
Good job, Todd.
Pretty good.
I mean, that's 8 for 8. That's 8 for 8 and 9 for 9 with a bonus. I'm a sissy. I'm a total sissy. I'm a sissy. I didn't make these hard enough. Like you know, I was all worried about, are these too hard? More and Mike, like, oh, I'm too hard. Nobody's going to get these questions. And I just gave the easiest test
this is much better
ever.
than the alternative where no one was getting them last week.
I just gave the easiest test ever.
I told you it was too
The
easy.
students are laughing at me. I'm the substitute teacher that came in, and they're just mocking me as I'm walking out the door.
That's all right. As long as the guy who didn't like minors didn't win, I'm sure you're happy.
No, Todd's a utility worker. He's 62. He works his butt off. Who am I to judge that man over in Yakima?
I know you. You're judging him right now.
You guys got to get over the minors thing. It's just not that great.
Todd.
You want me to let him go?
Goodbye.
Yeah, we're going to let Todd go.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
Let
Todd,
him go.
we're going to let you go.
Now
you're
you
not
upset Brock.
I'm trying to be kind.
Right, I told you.
I'm trying to be gracious.
I told you this
I'm
wasn't
trying
work
to
between you two.
trying to know the address to the high road, Todd, and then you just keep saying things like that.
Yeah, it's just too much for you.
You got to understand it's in my blood.
Jonan, congratulations. You are a
champ.
For
You're
sure.
not defeated. You and Andrew. Someday we're going to have you. Maybe you
Battle
and
of
Andrew are
champions.
going to go. Yeah, maybe a battle of champions between you and Andrew because you're perfect. You're
like
amazing.
Jeopardy.
Yeah.
All right.
Way to go, buddy.
Hang on the line, Jonan, and we'll send you out a copy
And I'm sure
of
your
the
brother
latest Madden game.
And I'm sure your brother's really pleased that you let the whole world know he peed his pants. I bet he's really tickled.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's a football thing. I think that's just a.
What do you mean?
It's just a West Virginia thing.
Like, not a West Virginia
feels
thing.
like one.
No, stop.
Yeah. You ever been to West Virginia?
I've been to West Virginia. Morgantown kind of fun. Morgantown kind of a fun place.
I don't know. Yeah. Pee in your pants sounds about right.
We may or may not have had somebody on our crew back in the day that brought some moonshine from West Virginia.
Yeah, that sounds more
At which
accurate.
point our producer's like, bro, that is an interstate felony. Get that stuff the heck away from our trucks. You cannot do that. That's
Let's instead do some Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Saul.
All right, Brock, question number 1 for you. Ryan Grubb did take full accountability for the issues in the run game, not giving it the ball enough to Ken Walker.
Yep.
Surprised?
100% not surprised. Did the exact same thing a year ago. Did the exact same thing over the last couple years. And I think I shared this briefly. I don't know if it was you or I think it was actually the day Lefko was in last week that some of the folks covering the old Husky Salk are realizing, like, man, DeBoer and Grubb, and now Jed Fish is an open book, and Jed Fish's press conferences are really fun. But trying to get something out of the O-line coach and Brendan Carroll, trying to get something out of Steve Belichick, not working out as it did.
I would have guessed Steve Belichick would be happy to talk about things like that.
Yeah, we'll see on Friday. We got him in a production meeting. I'm going to guess in a production meeting, it'll be maybe a little better than the live press conferences. But we learned this about Grubb last year, man. Open book. I'm going to tell you, what he thinks, what he believes when he screws it up as he did against ASU. And go ahead and fire that sound one more time. This was him asked yesterday about how in the world does Ken Walker, Condota just coming at him. How in the world does Ken Walker end with only 5 carries in that game, Grubb?
Got to get the ball to Ken more. And I think we had plenty of run game in the plan. Didn't have anything to do with not having enough calls for that. Just didn't get it called. And for us, we leaned on the wrong thing. And I think if we get Ken 10 more touches, 15 more touches, things are going to look different. So that's 100% on me. And my job is to make sure I get all our guys in the best position possible to win the game. And I didn't do that.
You know what I like about that, too? Just a little kind of inside football. It wasn't carries. It wasn't rushes.
Right.
It was touches.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. They got him a couple screens in the second half, Salk, and I think they got him just one screen, converted a third down. I think it was a tight end screen on the other. It doesn't have to be carries. It doesn't have to be just conventional run between the tackles. It's getting him touches. It could be jet sweeps. It could be screens. It could be speed option. It could be any number of ways that you just want to get the ball in that guy's hand. I also like that was a little cherry on top of that whole accountability answer.
All right, question number 2. Chenna Nwosu going to go to IR with this thigh injury. How serious an issue?
Well, it's going to be 4 weeks. I think he would then come back week 9 or 10. They'd have a bye week. So you do and could have him for the home stretch. I think here is the challenge and what this is a little window in when you're like, man, these guys are limited. Why didn't he practice? Remember a couple weeks that he was out there and kind of in a limited role. And let's get out there. I need you on the practice field. I need you now. Well, the challenge is when you have a knee injury as he had, sometimes the conditioning element can be problematic.
Mm-hmm.
And getting back up to football speed. Mike talked about that with Baker in his hamstring. To us when we asked him a couple weeks ago, man, he was limited. Hey, he was questionable for the game. Hey, and he's like, hamstrings are tricky, man. Soft tissue injuries are tricky because you can run full speed, but all of a sudden you got to cut and you got to move. And then, you have a knee injury, and if you're Chenna and you're a bigger guy and, the conditioning element may be a little tough, then you do worry about this. You do worry about a calf, a hamstring, a thigh, a soft tissue injury as you're trying to ramp back up into football conditioning, which is difficult, man. Now, I will keep my eye on Abe Lucas. I think we're getting near this time with Abe Lucas after this short week, maybe even the start of next week where they take him, they begin the clock of getting him off of PUP and get him going. So maybe there's a possibility that both an Abe Lucas and a Chenna Nwosu can get back in time for really the home stretch.
But then the question is, how many guys are gone by then, right? I mean, just the way the NFL works, the injuries just don't generally stop. So just when you think you're going to get healthy, it's amazing.
Yeah, and just when you think, these teams are all great and they're going to run away, 3-0. No, the NFL's got away with a 53-man roster and 49 active on Sundays to make life very difficult.
All right, question number 3. A little bit different scene as you get ready. Brock's got the UW game this weekend. UW at Iowa. What do you have your eyes on?
Oh, so much, Salk. I mean, look at these wide-spaced eyes. I see everything.
Heather and the girls were down in San Francisco. They saw a hammerhead shark.
They did.
I was like, did it look like Brock?
Did they laugh or did they say, Dad, that's not nice?
They were like, yeah, kind of. I see the resemblance, yeah.
Nice. A couple key things here. A couple key things in this matchup. Number one, we know how penalties, save for the Michigan game, have been a bit problematic for the Huskies, right? They average over 70 yards a game. A lot of that built on the 16 penalties versus Wazoo, just 2 against Michigan. You better be on point because Iowa does not beat themselves. Iowa's number 1 in the country in fewest penalties. They average 20 penalty yards a game. That is it. Wow. Average 2 penalties a game. They do not beat themselves. So you're 70-plus yards, they're 20 yards. That's 50 hidden yards right there that just over the course of the season in a game that they have taken advantage of. So you cannot beat them. If you have 5, 6, 7, 8 penalties, if you have negative plays, you're not going to win. So being buttoned up on the penalty side of things, really important. Number 2, the Huskies are pretty darn, after losing so much firepower, in fact, more firepower than anybody in the FBS, they only returned 3.6% of their yards offensively. And that's Denzel
a
Boston.
Crazy number.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Less than 4% of their offense returned this year, and yet they're number 5 in the country in plays of 10-plus yards. They have been unbelievably explosive. Jonah Coleman running it, Denzel Boston, Giles Jackson. I mean, all of them. Latu even getting involved over this last game. So They are 5th in the country on plays of 10-plus yards. Iowa, number 6 in the country, limiting it. They do not give up big plays. So penalties, the explosive plays, like this is just going to be a grinder. You go play Iowa, you get into a meat grinder, right? You get into a heavyweight match where they don't have much speed. I think they have thrown on the entire season, Salk, something like 8 passes beyond 20 yards in 5 games. Like they have nobody that can run on the perimeter, nobody that can scare you. You are an elite pass defense. They can run it, and their big old running back's number 2 in the country in rushing yards. But this is going to be a test of wills and discipline and grind. And what a wonderful opportunity for Jed Fish and his staff to learn even more about his team and, in their case, hopefully do so in victory.
All right, that is today's Blue 88. You mentioned all that firepower they lost. I mean, they lost a bunch of offensive linemen, too. So, I mean, putting all of that together is pretty remarkable.
They lost every one of them. Yeah, and you've got 4 transfers on your offensive line from Iowa Western, Portland.
Which is not supposed to be easy,
Portland
right?
State. No, you're not. That's not the way it's. San Diego State's not supposed to. You're not supposed to be able to function and beat Michigan as they did. And I know it's not like an elite offensive Michigan team, but that defensive front for Michigan is going to have 3 dudes drafted. Going to have a couple of them in the first couple rounds drafted, and they just kind of did their own, did what they had to do to find a way to win.
Speaking of being drafted, in the last 2 years, we've seen 10 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. Is that right?
Is that right?
10 quarterbacks, right? It was 4 and then 6 over the last 2 years.
Yes.
We've had 10 quarterbacks drafted in the first round.
And I want to say, Salk, almost all in the top 15.
Yeah, almost all of them. 7 of them have played. I'm curious whether or not we're on the same page on those 7 to 10 quarterbacks, where they're at, where they're going, and where you'd want them to be. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Seahawks offensive lineman Laken Tomlinson.
What makes a good O-line group 100% is chemistry, man. You just have a group of guys who just love hanging out with each other, love talking to each other. That communication goes a long way. I mean, the time spent with each other just physically. Me and Charles can go out there. We don't even have to say a word. We just know what each other can do. I can talk to Connor and he can just say his name and he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like little things like that. That's what's so important with offensive line plays, is having that chemistry.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Fall is near and it's time to break the huddle by taking advantage of Toyota of Kirkland's lifetime powertrain warranty. With a roster of over 70 Tundras and Tacomas, come scout the phenomenal team at Toyota of Kirkland. They'll pass you the keys so you can test drive your vehicle and take it to the house that same day. Big-time players make big-time plays at Toyota of Kirkland. Visit them today at their incredible showroom or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
For top quality fencing, trust Contour Fence, locally owned and operated since 1984. For residential or commercial, visit contourfence.com. Use code HAWKS10 for 10% off repairs or replacements and schedule a free consultation today. That's contourfence.com.
What's one of the biggest issues when you're trying to hire a roofing contractor? Are they going to do what you hired them to do? On time, on budget? Asset Roofing knows in addition to putting the premier roofing system on your home, the most valuable things they can provide to you are communication and transparency. I encourage you to check out and see what Asset Roofing is all about. Head to assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing since 1917.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Saul.
So over the last 2 years, 10 quarterbacks have been drafted. Well, 9 in the first round, plus Will Levis, who was pick number 33, so first pick in the second round. I'm putting him in this list just for the sake of conversation, because 10's more fun than 9.
We'll just call him a compensatory pick, like baseball.
Sure, yeah.
Just a wraparound compensatory.
First round comp pick.
Like a little mayonnaise on a sandwich.
Yeah. Anyway, or in your coffee in his case. So, yeah. So I was looking at these 10 quarterbacks, and it was interesting trying to figure out, because there have been some I've been high on, some I've been lower on. 3 of them haven't played yet, although it sounds like Drake may play as soon as this weekend. But
he's going to start this weekend.
McCarthy's not. He's out for the year. Penix isn't getting in anytime soon unless Kirk Cousins gets hurt, just based on how well Kirk has played. So, yeah. Anyway, how many of these guys would you truly want right now? Would you prefer to have them over what you've got? The number's pretty small.
It is.
Yeah, I started putting these guys in tiers, like kind of thinking about the Sando tiers thing. And I ranked them 1 through 10, but really they're sort of in tiers. Tier 1 for me are guys that I am jealous of. I think the Seahawks would be better if they had them. Number one for me is Jaden Daniels. Number two is CJ Stroud. Yes, I know Stroud has accomplished more because he's been in the league an extra year, but I am 100% blown away in love with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about him? Benetti had that game because of the baseball move around, and it was an extraordinary number of these passes that he is throwing at and behind the line of scrimmage. You know, and it's awesome, and he's super effective with it, and he can run, and he can certainly.
But then the ones he throws deep down the field are money.
That's exactly right.
And then he runs, and everything he does, I'm all in. That he's doing that in just his first 5 games of the season, of his career.
Yep.
Brock, the other stuff is going to come. He's certainly got a strong enough arm. He certainly is smart enough. He certainly is accurate enough. I mean, what's not to love about Jaden Daniels right now?
Don't tell Lyle that. Lyle,
I know Lyle's mad.
Boot him out of Tempe.
That's fair.
Get the
And
heck
that's
out of here.
a good personal reason to not like him. I got no problems with that.
Yep.
But Jaden Daniels, right now, if you could have any of these 10 guys, would he be the first guy on your list?
He would. I got to see some adversity. I got to see him at this level because it feels a little like the 3-0 Seahawks. Be careful kind of crowning. This is a new system, totally playing to his strengths right now. Nobody expected anything of Washington. Cliff Kingsbury's pretty good little OC. Got a chip on his shoulder too. Let me just see some adversity.
I think
so. I'm going to put Stroud ahead of him because Stroud has gone through a season, has gone through ups and downs, has taken a lowly Texans team and elevated them to a playoff winning team. So I think for me, you say the body of work. Yeah. The body of work is handle adversity, handle a beating. Let me see the first game where you take a true beating, where you're missing some guys, and let me see how you handle some of that.
Would you put Daniel second on your list?
Probably on this list right now. Probably, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So we'd flip flop it, but we'd both. I mean, I would put them both in that tier 1 of guys. I'm jealous. I want them on my team. I wish I was rooting for them every day. That would be fun.
Yeah. And at their price point, their upside, their talent ahead of Geno. Okay. Yeah.
Next guy on my list is Caleb Williams. He's in a tier by himself for me, tier 2 of guys that I'm still pretty high on. He hasn't done as much in his first 5 games as the other two have. But I haven't seen anything to tell me that he's not going to be good. And he's obviously got an enormous upside. So, yeah, I'd still put him on number 3 on this list right now.
The accuracy concerns there are somewhat valid. If you looked at his spray chart back in the day at SC and even as a freshman in Oklahoma, there's some areas there, and Bill Belichick has said as much on the right. There's some stuff there accuracy-wise that has to grow. But I will say, and I think it was a nationally televised game early in the year, he took an absolute beating. And he made it a point to be in the pocket. No. First and foremost, I got to play, and I know this in this league, I got to play between the tackles. I can't make, chicken salad out of every single play. There's going to be some where I just have to stand in there and take a shot. And I appreciated that, man. And he took it again and again and again, like Marshawn Lynch right in his face. Getting just battered and never really flinched. And I think there's some maturity there. I know he's a bit eccentric. He marches to his own beat. I don't know if the nails have been painted with the F-bombs in the NFL. I think some of that's out the door. But there is some curiosity there for me. The accuracy, first and foremost, is something I think that's got to sharpen up a little bit.
Is there anyone on this list you would put ahead of him right now?
Bryce, no. Levis, no. Richardson, absolutely not. To your point about Penix and JJ not playing.
Right.
Bo, Drake, no. He would.
So he's probably third on the. It's amazing how quickly you get to I don't know. My tier 3, and this is where you and I may start to disagree a little bit, are guys who I've not been particularly impressed by, but I'm not calling them dead yet. Does that make sense? And that for me would be 4, 5, and 6. Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Bo Nix. I haven't been impressed. Anthony Richardson is going to be the top of my list there because he's young, because he can run, because he hasn't played that much. The injuries have obviously been a problem. And I just I'm still intrigued by him. Will Levis has a strong arm, but geez, he's getting real close to being in the flat no category.
Yep.
And Bo Nix, I don't see it, but I'll give the guy credit. He's won a couple of games and he can run a little bit.
Won 3 in a row. He's been creative. I would say the best thing about Bo Nix, and I don't think you saw this over the weekend, Salk, he went at Sean Payton.
I saw that, yeah.
You saw the little clip of it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it
and
was
then I
great.
saw him put together a whole Instagram reel of his highlights interspersed with quotes from Ferris Bueller.
Yes, it was pretty good. You remember when old Sean went after Russ last year, And Russ just kind of sat there and absorbed all of that and took. Yeah, and Bo Nix, absolutely, which is what you have to do to a bully. And Sean Payton's got a bit of bully in him. He's got that old school. And I don't think Bill Parcells minded when Phil Simms went right back at him. I think there were times that he wanted to do that and wanted to test him and see, do you have enough backbone and spine to punch the bully back? And, yeah, Bo is not perfect. Bo's got some second and third level struggles. But you know what Bo did? Bo elevated Oregon. And you know, took them to some places they hadn't been. Levis and Anthony Richardson never did that in college. Anthony Richardson started 8 games in college. Anthony Richardson now for 2 years, Salk, has not been available to his team. And I know he's like Santos. He's an idea. Like, you know, like Gregory Santos. Like the skills are unbelievable. The stuff is special.
Yeah.
But right now you're just an idea to me.
Absolutely.
And I
would put all 3 of those guys in a tier below what you've got right now.
I would too.
Right? Like,
much rather have
which is hard for me.
Yeah.
I wanted Anthony Richardson. That one's a little hard for me. But I don't think I could look at the body of work through almost a season and a half here and say, yeah, this is something that would be a preferable situation. Not even close. He's barely been available, and when he has been, he's been up and down and made a lot of mistakes. Yep. I'm not giving up on Anthony Richardson, though. I think the talent is still super high. He hasn't played a ton of football, and if you can get him into the right situation, I think there's something there. Levis is, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Tier 4 for me is the flat no, and that's Bryce Young. He's just been awful.
Yeah.
He's just been awful.
He's just broken. It's the yips. He's got the yips. And it's hard to watch because I really liked him. My only concern was his size. He is a really small guy. And it's not even his height. He's just, Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson and Baker Mayfield. They're strong. They're 215 pounds. They're sturdy dudes. He is just a little guy. And unfortunately, I think this big man league has just swallowed him up and got in his head, and he's totally got the yips.
We'll see what happens with the other 3 guys. Drake May obviously is going to start this week. Penix and McCarthy. I mean, I don't know whether we'll see either of those guys this year. McCarthy definitely not.
They may be in the best situation because of it, right? They may not. That is what Tom Brady has said repeatedly. Best thing for me, my first year, is be on the practice squad and watch Drew Bledsoe be an absolute pro and watch this game. This game is different. Benetti, again, and I, that's another name drop. 4th time I dropped Benetti's name. I just said, how was it calling the, number 2 crew in the NFL game? He's like, Brock, it's a totally different game. It's amazing. The college game and the NFL game, just the style of it, right? Just the number of plays of it, just the, I don't want to say the corporate level, the scripted level, but it's just totally different. The game's all about like the fourth quarter. College football is messy. College football stylistically is so different, schematically is so diverse and so unique. These games are so vastly different, which is why, Tom Brady would say, Penix, learn all you can, absorb absolutely everything you can. And JJ, you're getting to watch a resurrection story. You're getting to see somebody in a Sam Darnold that 3 organizations basically wrote off. And right now he's writing his own script and a pretty darn good one.
Pretty remarkable, though, that a year and a half almost into this, and there's really only 3 of the 10 where you feel good about them.
Not remarkable, today. Man. That's what the odds tell you.
3 out of 10, and we'll see what happens. I mean, look, you got other guys who are still, 3 of them have yet to take a snap. So I'm not giving up on them. If all 3 of them hit, it'd be 6 out of 10, and now you look at things completely differently. But at this point, 3 of them have kind of shown something. And really, it's 2 of them who have really, kind of shown a lot. I mean, Caleb Williams has been a little up and down. I think he just hasn't done anything bad enough to say that it's not a,
and
it's
he's
not
got a
going
good
to work
supporting
out.
cast around him, and, he's not going to have to carry the whole load this season.
What a risk, man. What an unbelievable risk taking quarterbacks in the first round and just some of the challenges that can come out of it. All right. Daniel Jeremiah, who used to get paid to help figure stuff like that out as a scout in the NFL. He joins us every Wednesday, so that's coming up in 20 after everything you need to know next.
Thursday Night Football.
The ball pops out. Coming to the near side is Jenkins. He's coming down the field.
The Seahawks have a short week to prepare for their first divisional matchup.
He's going to skip to Ballou, my darling. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Tomorrow night, the Seahawks take on the 49ers at Lumen Field.
And nobody saw Gino take off and run, and he goes for 32 and a first down.
Kickoff at 5:15. Pre-game coverage starting at 2 on your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, and I've had my share of sports injuries. I don't really want this to be a humble brag. It's just a reality of concussions and separated shoulders and dislocated fingers and torn rib cartilage and bruised kidneys. And yeah, I know a little bit about pain over the years, but you also don't have had to have played professional sports, college sports, to know what I'm talking about. I know that many of you right now are hearing this, and you've got painful hip, a painful knee, a painful shoulder from tendonitis, from arthritis, and it can affect anyone. It makes it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that is where my friend Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine over there in Kirkland comes into play. He has seen so many patients suffering from chronic joint pain caused by arthritis. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques. That's important. That decade of experience means whatever walks through the door, whatever joint may be terribly painful and debilitating, he's got an answer to. Give him a call this morning at 425-823-4000, 425-823-4000, or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Saying goodbye to my electric blanket. That's right. I've got an electric blanket. It's John Curley. We're not going to need it anymore because Home Comfort Alliance installed my heat pump, giving me dependable heating and AC while improving my air quality and comfort without my good old electric blanket. As a top Lennox Premier partner, Home Comfort Alliance has a long history of 5-star customer satisfaction. Call the comfort people and ask for the Curley Cash discount. Currently up to $4,000 in combined rebates and discounts. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Autumn is in the air, and like the leaves, prices are falling at Harbor Freight's parking lot sale this weekend. We've got tons of products on sale, like 3-ton jacks for under $100, 5,000-watt generators, $250 off, plus dual bevel miter saws at nearly half the price of the competition. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until 10/13/24 while supplies last. So hurry in. Limitations apply.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 10/13/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Message and data rates may apply.
Breaking news. Contrary to popular belief, now is the perfect time to break into real estate.
Educated investors everywhere are buying tax lien properties, something big banks have been doing for years. Now, people in your area can take advantage of this open secret. Tax Lien Wealth Builders is coming to Seattle this weekend for a live event where you learn how you can make real money buying and selling government-backed investment properties for 50 to 70% below market value. Learn how to buy and sell property and navigate the market like a pro at our 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle this weekend. Tax Lien Wealth Builders gives you the tools you need to invest confidently. Get a free wealth building kit when you register and attend a 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle. Text WEALTH to 52346. Hurry. With high demand, seats will fill up. Text WEALTH to 52346. Get a free wealth building kit now. Text WEALTH to 52346.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, up first, Brock, you've mentioned it a couple of times today. Uchenna Nwosu goes to IR with a thigh injury. It's not great news. He's a guy they were really looking forward to having back this year. Then he had an injury in preseason. Now another injury after playing
paid him
just,
too.
What, a handful of snaps.
I mean, that's a bummer too. Like that is a guy you paid for stability and being a rock, and which is really what he was. Well, ask DJ about him. He was down there in LA with the Chargers, and DJ got to see him, and we've just not. We've really not got to see the very best consistency wise. We've seen it in some spurts, but that is a bummer, especially against this opponent where you need to set an edge. And that means Dre Jones got to play a little bit better. That means Boye Mafe. And what was Boye? Was Boye a full participant?
He was a full participant, but Derek Hall would not have participated if there was practice yesterday. So
that's not good.
Yeah, certainly some real major question marks there.
And they play when? When do they play?
Going to play tomorrow. Gino's pretty excited.
You know how big this rivalry is. These are predominantly two of the better teams in the league over the past 10 years, and it's always going to be a slugfest. And so, like I said, we respect those guys. They have some great players on their side, and they're proven. And as far as we go, we've proven ourselves as well. But it's a big time matchup. It's a big time matchup. Great players all over the field, and a lot to be excited for.
In a matchup, Gino's not won yet. And I don't know when the Hitman piece is coming out. I would assume today, maybe tomorrow, over there at ESPN. Brady Henderson, who I chatted with on Sunday about it. A lot of the premise of this piece is going to be, all right, Gino, do you want to be the Seahawks QB of the future? You know what you got to do? Beat San Francisco. And I know that's unfair, and it's not all on you. And obviously the defense versus Shanahan the last couple of years has not had answers. You've not had a lot of help. A lot of it's been on you and fallen on you. And he's going to have to be special tomorrow night.
Yeah, he's played 5-game win streak that the Niners have. He's not really putting a lot of stock in them.
Just about this game. Those 5 games don't help them, don't help us. It's about this game and focusing on this Thursday night. That's all that really matters. Obviously, yeah, you can say that, but you can go past that and say we beat them 5 straight times. So I think it doesn't really matter, right? It just matters about this game and what we do now.
He's right. Those games don't affect this one, but you got to get the monkey off your back. And until you beat them, people will keep asking about it. So an opportunity to get that done tomorrow evening.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Went to the Kraken game yesterday. Great crowd for a 1:30 Tuesday start. Pretty impressive, actually. And other than a 2-minute stretch in the middle of the second period, they outplayed them. I honestly liked
the Blues.
I liked the way the Kraken played yesterday. I did. They just had 2 minutes where they just completely took the time off. They gave up, the first goal was a perfectly fine, good goal. The second goal was soft. Grubauer, that's one you got to get. And then the third one's a bad goal where you allow a breakaway. Other than those 2 minutes, they were great. Vince Dunn got the scoring going.
Matty Beniers is right behind him, and they get a chance. Dunn motors in, and a save. Rebound, score! Vince Dunn starts the scoring in Seattle.
Yeah, we got the debut yesterday for Jessica Campbell. Big ovation from the crowd as she became the first woman behind the bench named as an assistant in an NHL game. Pretty cool. And then Jordan Eberle, I love this. He was named the team's captain. He becomes the second captain in the history of the franchise. It had been vacant for the last couple of years with a bunch of guys alternating, all wearing the A. Wearing A's, meaning they were alternate captains. But But then right before the game yesterday, they awarded him that.
Did that
captaincy.
surprise him? Did they know? Do you think he knew that
I don't
was
think
coming?
he knew.
He didn't know?
I don't think so. I think they told him about it right before the game.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And that C means so much in that sport, probably more than any other. He's very deserving. Really just a lot of respect for that guy. As for the alternate captains, Larson, Schwartz, and Gord will continue to wear the A. Matty Beniers added to that list as he gets an A this year as well.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
It's one thing to try to take on the Mets. It's another thing to do it when they've got Grimace on their side, and there's just nothing you can do. Grimace was everywhere. He was on the bus.
There is something you can do. Get the Hamburglar out there running around him. Run laps around Grimace. Grimace doesn't have great conditioning. Don't act like there's nothing you can do
a ranked
about
at some point
Grimace.
where Brock
Yes.
ranked the McDonald's
I think
characters?
he actually might have even done that.
No, I did not, but I'm just saying enough. Enough of their excuses. Oh, they played great, but 2 minutes cost them. Well, those are 2 critical minutes. Oh, there's nothing you can do about Grimace. The hell there's not. You run Grimace right off the playground. The Hamburglar can do that. Don't tell me there's nothing you can do.
I don't think there's anything you can do about Grimace. Maura wants to co-opt it. She wants our own Grimace here in Seattle, to which I say it doesn't work that way. It's
No,
got to be
Maura.
authentic.
No.
It's got to be organic.
That's right.
That's when you end
You
up
don't
with the
think we should,
Maple Grove.
Come up with some characters that might be able to help.
No,
I mean,
we could try anything at this point.
If the Mariners had started getting on a streak like that this year, the salmon would have been that thing. Like it's
That's right.
easy to come up with that
That's
thing
right.
when you're winning.
The lowly chum salmon could have come to life.
Yeah, maybe that would have
worst
been
of
the
the
big
species.
moment for.
There was the whole rally
Humpy.
shoe thing a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's got to happen organically. When it does, it's great. And you got to keep winning. And that's exactly what the Mets have done. They've taken full advantage. They win, Padres win, and all 4 series continues today. So we get 4 baseball playoff games. Should be pretty awesome. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Yeah, I did see something that 2 Grimaces were about to start making out at Citi Field yesterday. Thankfully, the camera cut away right in time.
Enough.
You think that's too much?
No one needs to see that.
You think that's
No
too
one.
much?
I will say this. Lyle said it during the break, too. This has been phenomenal playoff baseball. These environments have just been electric. I know DJ will talk about it down in San Diego. Allison, our reporter on our crew as well, she's gone to some of those games, and Petco is just alive. I mean, selling out. It's kind of like Safeco was in the early 2000s when it was Safeco. I mean, it was just sold out every game. It's the place you got to be. Detroit today is going to be just an absolute madhouse. I mean, madhouse. Shea is a madhouse. Like, these environments have come to life, and don't think that doesn't play a role in just the whole vibe and making it feel big and so momentous, and yeah, pretty cool.
By the way, Texter 509 says that Eberle was actually told a couple days ago, had to keep it quiet. Jeff Baker had that report, so I apologize. I missed it. What I saw was that he was told earlier, and so maybe the rest of the team
Will
was
you get
told?
your facts and come back and see me? Seriously. That was a rough ending to that segment. You got to be better. Be better for Daniel Jeremiah. Just do that. Just be better for me. I know.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing we've been working together for 15 years.
I know the grief that I give you. Oh, it's so hard, Hammerhead Shark, asking my daughters about it. Oh, I know it is so hard.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a pretty good comeback. All right, Daniel Jeremiah. We'll see if he got any sleep or if he was up partying after the Padres game last night. He's next on Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
So, which team is real? The 3-0 Seahawks or the one we've seen the past 2 weeks?
Weekdays 2 to 7.
It gives credence, it gives ammunition to those that were saying, hey, you went 3-0 against questionable opposition at best. And I don't put the Giants in that conversation, by the way. With all due respect to them, to me, yesterday was much more about what the Seahawks didn't do.
They have been down some players, so I will give them that.
Don't miss an hour of the show. Find the podcast at seattlesports.com.
All right, now that summer is in the rearview mirror, are you ready to start working off some of the extra pounds that you might have packed on as you were having a little too much fun? If that's hard for you, you don't need to feel frustrated or overwhelmed. You've got a teammate. You got somebody who can help. in Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs, no injections. Just teaching your body how to turn itself into a fat-burning machine and then keep it off for the long term. Eastside's got the secret for fast, lasting weight loss using real healthy food that you buy at the grocery store. Tastes great, awesome recipes. You won't be hungry. And then they got lifestyle strategies as well, all designed to reset your metabolism. Schedule a free consultation by going to eastsideweightlossklinik.com. They've successfully helped thousands of people lose 20, 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. I lost 35 pounds in 8 weeks. You can start it in person in Kirkland, or you can really do it virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule that free consultation. Call 425-588-0080 or go to eastsideweightlossklinik.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Are you constantly dealing with a runny nose, nasal congestion, or stuffiness? Always having to clear your throat or coughing? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine-Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that can significantly reduce your symptoms. This long-lasting treatment is available here in my office. In a clinical study, 88% of Rhine-Air patients experience a significant reduction in their symptoms. We're proud the Stern Sinus Center was recently named a nationwide center of excellence. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Hey Seahawks fans, Tyler Lockett for Brown Bear Car Wash. We've got the perfect play for a spotless car. With the Unlimited Wash Club, you can keep your car game ready all season long. It isn't clean unless it's Brown Bear clean.
Are you a skilled HVAC tech looking for a top-rated team? Join Ben's Plumbing, rated 5 stars for exceptional service. Enjoy great pay and benefits, a supportive team, and a non-commissioned HVAC career. Visit bens.plumbing/careers to apply.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. Most guys don't realize that their ED started in their 40s. Symptoms of erectile dysfunction can be slight and subtle, but by treating your symptoms at the onset, you can avoid severe ED in the future. Mild ED is easily reversed at our clinic using our acoustic wave technology. Most men have accepted that ED is a part of getting older, but that's far from the truth. Our acoustic wave therapy has helped thousands of men restore function, whether they're in their 40s or their 80s. West Coast Men's Health also treats chronic pain, including neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, Dupuytren's contracture, and even carpal tunnel. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Daniel Jeremiah going to be with us in just a moment or two. Looking forward to that, our regular Wednesday conversation with DJ. We do that daily, or weekly rather, here at this time. I should point out that tomorrow, Brock, we will have Here's the Thing at 8 o'clock. I had a little reminder for people early this morning at about 6 that they've got to go download the app. And if they have, then they can leave us a message, a little voice message for Here's the Thing, which we will do tomorrow at 8:30.
Strong match last week in your absence, man. Strong, really? Yeah, other than Brad. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Brad, again. Other than Brad was very, very average. Everybody else, there was a couple great ones. You know, the Trident, the low Trident. The guy, that went to Dr. Arakaki because he had the low Trident. He came back. He was pretty good. So, yeah, some pretty fun
with the guy making fun of Salk's hobgoblin and.
Yeah, that
I don't have, for the record, I don't have a hobgoblin. Like, I just want to be clear. I don't keep a hobgoblin at home or anything. I don't have a hobgoblin. I just quoted a Ralph Waldo Emerson line about a foolish consistency being a hobgoblin of little minds.
Right.
But I myself don't own or speak with any hobgoblins.
That's good.
Right.
I was really concerned about that.
Well, people may get confused. I don't want them to think that my home has been overrun by hobgoblins or anything of the sort. So.
Nope. I'm looking at a picture. DJ is excited. So we just got some technical difficulties going on. So we're gonna get him. So I think he needs maybe a new link or something. Who knows? But I know that Maura and Justin and Lau are going to get the thing figured out.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah. Yeah. There's,
I got some sound to play while we wait for him. You want me to play you a little bit of sound?
I love that.
How about this one from Colin Cowherd? This one is this one is interesting. If you watch the Seahawks for 5 games this year, you might be surprised to hear this take from Colin Cowherd.
Well, here's the good news with Seattle. They really have all the pieces. All they need is quarterback. I mean, they've got multiple receivers, 2 backs, capable tight ends, a left tackle. They've got their coach. Their D-line's always hurt. Secondary's nice. Linebackers that move. That's a team that could give up 4 picks, move because they're too talented. They're not going to get a top 12 pick. But that's a team. I thought they should have done it last year. I argued last year was the year to go up and get Pennick. To me, that was my argument. Go get a quarterback. But they had signed Geno. Like a Kirk Cousins deal, it's not prohibitive, it's not punitive, and let Geno for a year play, let the kids sit behind him. But I think it's time for Seattle to make a big pitch. I think when you watch Geno today, he took a couple of bad sacks. He's pretty darn mobile, but I don't think anybody in Seattle. I thought when Pete Carroll said, "Yeah, I can win with Geno and Drew Lock," it's like that's a defensive coach, and I think when defensive coaches tend to lack a little urgency at quarterback.
It's just tiring. So I love Colin. Love him. Think he's tremendous. That's just tired. I listened to the same thing when I was in Orlando 2 weeks ago. I was driving around through the winds, and man, prayers for the folks of Tampa and Orlando and Florida that are going to face a nightmare. Oh, an absolute nightmare in the early hours of and into tomorrow. But I was driving around listening to the same thing. And he said almost the exact same thing about the New York Giants. I like the Giants. This was after the Giants-Cowboys game. I like the Giants. I really do. Giants are quarterback away. Got a left tackle. Got a Neighbors, a number 1 receiver. Got a loaded defensive line. They're just quarterback away. I mean, is that all it is? Is that just the oversimplification of everything? Have you watched these 5 Seahawks games, even the 2 losses, and gone, yep, but they had a quarterback?
I have not.
Oh, they only had a quarterback.
I have definitely not had that reaction.
I mean, there's no one on this side of. You didn't feel that way in Detroit at all. He was the only reason he played so well. He had a game where he threw 44 times. He didn't miss a throw. Yeah, there were a couple bad sacks because they became one-dimensional. And against, 3 top 10 picks in Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns, guess what? Yeah, guess what makes any quarterback when you're one-dimensional? A little uncomfortable, and your clock gets a little screwy. Even the GOAT, even Tom Brady against Giants defenses with formidable defensive fronts got a little crazy. How can you watch these games and say, and especially these 5, and in any world say, yeah, if they only had a quarterback, yeah, Geno's a problem. No run game, no defense, gave up 420 yards to the Giants, 170 rushing, 250 to Daniel Jones, and a backup receiver and a backup running back. And the issue is Geno? The issue is you're a quarterback away? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I don't see this one, honestly. I mean, I may not be Geno's biggest fan on the planet, and I do think that long term, I still believe you'd be better off finding the quarterback who's going to take you to a Super Bowl. But I don't know how you could watch the first 5 games of this year and come away in any way with a view that Geno Smith is like the one thing that's been missing.
He ran for 72 yards.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see any of it. I'm sorry. I don't get where Colin's coming from on this one. I like you, love Colin.
I don't know why I'm testy this morning.
You're very testy.
I'm a little testy on a beautiful Wednesday morning.
Apparently,
but that one's just
the text machine had their own thoughts about the whole hobgoblin thing. 509 says, Salk, no one thinks you have a hobgoblin. We all believe you to be a hobgoblin, which is not very nice.
And there it is. There's what we've been looking for.
It's not very nice.
No, that is. Oh my gosh.
What?
Maybe that's what the Mariners need.
A hobgoblin?
Yes.
Maybe.
Not a grimace.
And
not a hamburglar.
Not personal hobgoblin.
Not a salmon. Not a rally monkey.
503 says, yeah, Salk, that sounds exactly like the type of thing somebody with a hobgoblin would say. And then, of course, Matt in Oregon chiming in to say maybe Cecily would disagree. Yeah, maybe she's the hobgoblin of the home. Who knows? Yeah, I got to tell you, I love Colin. I don't see that. No. I don't know exactly what it is I would say other than that, I just don't know whether there's enough talent across the board yet. It's the same conversation we had in the offseason. Yeah, you're going to beat the teams like Miami and without a quarterback and Denver and you're going with the Patriots. You're going to be able to do that. But do you have enough premier talent across the board? I'm not convinced that they do.
You know what everybody loves? New. I just love new. If I could just get that new car. Do we have Daniel Jeremiah?
Yeah, we do. We got DJ right here. DJ, good morning. How are you?
What's going on, guys? I was looking forward to seeing smiling faces today, but we'll just talk. We'll have a good conversation.
We were looking forward to seeing yours, quite frankly, because I got to imagine it's ear to ear with your Padres just doing damage every night.
If you saw the amount of sweat I had going before that game started, just sitting in the stand, I'm like, I'm looking around, like, man, it's really hot in here. And I'm like, nope, I'm the only one who's sweating like this. I am not playing, by the way. Maybe I need to tell my body that.
You and I are like-minded in a bunch of different ways, DJ. Exact same thing. Have you been like me, just a Padre fan? You're what? Are you 47, 48, 46?
I'm 46. I'm 46. I'll be 47 in a couple months.
Okay. You got married young. You got kids in college. Yep. We're very, very similar. And it sure sounds like you and I also are totally linked together in that we have immense, irrational, emotional fandom for our baseball team in town.
I'll put it to you this way. This is game 4 tonight. I have tickets. I'm not going because I'm like, I kind of hate myself of how stressed out I'm getting over a baseball game.
Wow.
I can't put myself through this again. And here's the whole thing: if they win tonight, or if they lose and win Game 5 in advance, I'm fine. I hate the Dodgers with such an unending, lifelong passion that it creates stress beyond anything I've ever experienced in my life. I've got a buddy who worked in the organization who's now with another team, and he said, I feel like that the Padres got a really good shot to win the whole thing. He said when in 22, the focus was so much on beating the Dodgers, and this year it feels like their goals are much higher. And I wrote back, well, mine aren't. I just want to beat the Dodgers. I don't care what happens after that.
You sound a lot. I mean, you and I actually are the same age. You sound a lot like I did in about 2003, 2004, where, growing up in Boston, winning the World Series was sort of the goal, but getting past the Yankees sure felt more important when it actually happened than actually winning the World
sigh
Series.
of relief. Like, just breathe a sigh of relief if they can just win one more game.
What a great transition to the 49ers and Seahawks. I mean, you put it right there on the tee. The last 5 times stomped by these guys. In some ways, quite honestly, you can look at the end of the KIRO era because his inability in the division to beat Shanahan, to beat McVay, to beat this system. A huge game for Geno Smith, who's lost his last 5 to these guys, the one team he's not been able to beat. What is it about San Francisco that has presented so many issues to the Seahawks?
Well, I think, first of all, it's just been a mismatch up front, and really, when you look at their defensive front, that's been able to exploit them up front. And the only thing, and I've been, as you guys know, I am on board. I love the direction the Seahawks are going, but watching what Dexter Lawrence did to them last week was not encouraging. So that's the line of scrimmage team when you play the Niners, and they're not playing great right now. They have a feel of a team that's bored in the regular season and is just trying to cruise to get to the postseason where to try and exercise the demons. I'm sure they'll flip a switch and crank it up a little bit at some point in time, but they're not playing with the same level of intensity and passion that you normally see from that group. But in the past, I really think that's been a line of scrimmage issue more than anything else in that matchup.
I think we were prepared for the idea that someone like Dexter Lawrence would, cause a problem for the Seahawks offense. Like this offensive line, that defensive line. I think most Seahawks fans could, when confronted with that, say, I get it. I think what was so confusing or upsetting about what happened on Sunday was the Giants offense, which no one has a lot of respect for, especially missing their best wide receiver and their starting running back, just taking it to this Seahawks defense. What's going on with this run defense? They couldn't stop anything.
Yeah, it was interesting because one of the first things I watched this week was I saw the stats, and I'm like, anytime you have a rookie running back go for over 100 yards, and Tyrone Tracy, who was a receiver at Purdue before moving to running back, and I remember going through the scouting process with him, but I saw the yards, and so I was like, man, I want to watch this and see, there's going to be some incredible runs in here and making guys miss and breaking tackles. And I'm like, nope, they just kind of gashed them. It was just kind of took the yards that were there. I didn't think it was anything too special on the running back's part. It was just they were able to crease them a little bit. In watching that offense with the Giants, I think sometimes and Brock, I'd love to know if you have experiences like this, but it just felt like Brian Daboll called a perfect game and was just he found that little zone. They were screening them when they needed to screen them. Then they'd play action them and expand them. They kind of found a target in Trey Brown that they liked and went at him repeatedly. I just felt like, and then they gashed him in the run game. I thought Brian Daboll, that was as well a coached offensive game considering the personnel that was deployed as I've seen this year.
Yeah, I was super excited a few years ago when Daboll was the OC for the Bills, and I got a Seahawks-Bills game. I get to work in the NFL. It's during COVID. I got bumped over to the NFL. I can't wait to do this game on TV, and I want to say they came out and threw it 28 straight times, and it looked like 7-on-7, and absolutely torched the Seahawks in a game they could have won 60-0 and thrown for 900 yards. I can't remember that corner. Do you remember that corner, Salk? He was like a free agent. Oh, gosh, it was the same thing. I mean, they just picked and they picked and they picked and they picked. They did the same to Trey Brown. Daboll's really, really good. But here's how I want to spin this, DJ.
Yeah.
A little bit of adversity for Mike McDonald and Ryan Grubb, who have handled it beautifully. Grubb said, on me, total accountability. A little bit of adversity. In your years of being in the league and in front offices, do you remember a time or two with maybe a young coach where there was some real adversity, like for the first time, and you either saw that young coach, coordinator, head coach really rise to the occasion or watch him crumble? And what was maybe the sauce behind that?
I go back to, and it wasn't a team that I was with, but I was in the division for 6 years, which was Mike Tomlin. And everybody's seen the consistency that Mike Tomlin's had and the longevity that he's had, and he's widely regarded as one of the elite coaches in the league and has been for a long time. people don't remember when he started out there, like you're replacing a legend in Cowher who just had a ton of success. And the expectations in that organization obviously are sky high. And I think early on, it was kind of like, well, he's kind of switching how they play defense a little bit. He's, is this guy just a motivational coach? And they lost some games early. I think it was in the transition, maybe from over to Ben when Ben was a rookie, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, well they might have whiffed on this one. And then he was so consistent in his messaging and his intense focus that he had there that he just kind of ran right through the turmoil. Like he didn't stop and question himself or how he's doing things or do I need to go and adjust to the way they've always done things here. And he just kind of plowed through with his message. And I think that was a very key moment for him early on in his coaching career. And he stayed true to who he is. And that's why he's had so much longevity and so much success.
One of the reasons, and I love that answer, by the way, it's something we've been talking about over the last couple of days, is, this is the first real adversity that's faced Mike Macdonald since he got here. How he handles that, I'm sure, will dictate a lot of his future here as Seahawks head coach. One of the reasons he was brought in here was to match wits with guys like Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. He gets his first shot against Shanahan tomorrow night, rather. What do you expect that matchup to look like? What will those guys do against each other?
Well, everything's going to be predicated on how they can run the ball. I mean, the Niners have gone to a little bit more, pure drop back stuff as Purdy's gotten more confident. I think almost that Shanahan's just looking to explore new things. I don't want to say he got, kind of bored with what he's always done that's been successful, but they have been a little bit more pure drop back since he's had Purdy there. To me, that their offense clicks when they get their outside run game going, and then they can build off of that. That's when that just becomes a nightmare, because I don't think, think about one-on-one route winners. I don't think that's really how they're built. They're built to run after the catch with the ball in their hands, to put defenders in trail positions, and you do that by messing with their eyes. I know that Purdy is a really good player, and he's proven he can win on some traditional drop back, but I think that makes them easier to defend when they do that. So I'm kind of curious to see how they do come out in this one.
Is DK Fernando Tatis?
Just enormous home run hitter, high energy that can spread to the rest of the team. I haven't seen Fernando fumble yet, but I guess it's a fair comparison.
Well, he fumbled away a lot of games, but he was unavailable for some stretches. I would say he did that, right? That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just enigmatic, right? Just a little bit like, oh my gosh, just bigger than life. And you said it to us a couple weeks ago. When he hits a home run, the whole stadium is energized. When DK catches an 80-yard touchdown, when DK runs through three guys, right? When DK is uncoverable, it energizes the whole building, and I think the team as well. And yet, back-to-back weeks with just critical fumbles, penalties have been an issue in the past. Is there, maybe it's hard to compare and contrast baseball players to football players, but is there another gear for DK to hit?
I think so, and we've talked about it. The things that he does well, he does as well as anyone, and that's just running by people and using his speed power combination, as a big play merchant, and whether that's getting him underneath or getting him over the top. I think they're still refining. The one thing I would say is a little different between you doing a cross sport comparison. I would say that Fernando is kind of, he's the baseball 5-tool guy. Like, there's no hole in his game. He's had his issues off the field, but in terms of that, he's about as complete as it gets. I think DK's strengths are phenomenal, but I think there still is polish to come there in terms of some of this route running polish. So that would be the only difference there. But I do agree 100%. I think there's certain guys in every sport that are able to channel energy from the crowd and then also bring energy to the crowd. That's not something you typically talk about in the scouting world, but I think it's 100% real. And I think you have to have guys like that on your team, and he is that guy.
DJ, 10 quarterbacks drafted in the first round plus one pick for Will Levis. We'll throw him in the list just for now. 10 guys drafted in the last 2 years in the first 33 picks of the draft. As you look at things today, 7 of them have played, 3 of them have not. How many would you want on your team?
Well, we got to go through them here with this year. So, I mean, we haven't seen, who are the guys we haven't seen?
We haven't seen Penix, JJ, or Drake May.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about all those guys. I don't think you'll see it from Drake May this year just because they're so awful. I mean, they are terrible up front. So I would withhold any expectation with him, but I do like him. I think he's going to be good in the long run once they build up around him. Of the guys from this year's group, the top 2 guys, I mean, you've seen Caleb come on the last couple of weeks. Jaden's been awesome from the jump. I know that you're all in on Bo Nix, so
not.
I mean, excited about that one. I think he's a TBD.
But I like the way he runs, and I do like that he got back at Sean Payton. I mean, I'm willing to give the man some credit. I just don't think he's got the kind of downfield arm you're going to need eventually, and I think those things will cost him. But I like the running ability, I like the winning ability, and I like the kind of getting back in Peyton's face ability.
Yeah, what's been fun with him, I think more entertaining than his play has been his press conferences. He's had some phenomenal answers, Bo Nix. He's got a little edge to him. He's got a little personality to him, more so than I even really knew going through the draft process. But we got to put him in the TBD category.
Where are you at with Anthony Richardson?
I'm a little worried there. Just the sample size was so small. And while the talent is immense, like just in terms of the arm strength and the athleticism, it's not some of his issues. I just don't think, and Brock, I'd love to get your thoughts on this, but there's elements of the game where you can look at it and say, you need to play more and see more, and that will get better. Caleb's a great example of that. The more he plays in an NFL offense against NFL defenses, he's going to see more and he's going to get better. When you lack, touch, timing, accuracy, I just don't know, the more you play, the more the experience you'd get. I don't think that necessarily eliminates those concerns.
Yeah. Just that precision, right? You just watch these guys, and it's a little bit kind of the DK too of just being a technician, absolute precision. And I think sometimes when you've got an amazing gift, and he's got he threw a 65-yard ball in the air flat-footed this year for a touchdown. Like when you have that, sometimes the rest of that just hasn't been developed through the years because your just raw talent is that special. We got you for just about another minute here, DJ. Last question for me. And Mike McDonald dropped this on us on Monday, and I loved it. He said, methodologies change, right? There's methodologies and what we do that do change. Schedule can change, some scheme can change, but the principles of what we are have to be unwavering. Kind of back to your Mike Tomlin, right? That conviction, those principles. Yeah. What do you think in the big picture, and in particular tomorrow night, like the principle of the Mike McDonald program that you want to see come to life against your division foe, your rival, the bully on the block that you've got to beat? Like, what is the principle that we're going to see, the very essence, conviction of a Mike McDonald team, you think, moving forward?
I honestly think it's playing the game on the other side of the line of scrimmage defensively. I think that has to be kind of the hallmark of who they are. It's what his side of the ball, his expertise is. It's how they've played, and I think that bleeds over to the offense. Yeah. But I think it comes with attacking. It comes with making tackles for loss. It comes with sacks and pressures. It just comes with setting the standard for the game that we are going to play on your side of the line of scrimmage, not on our side of the line of scrimmage. And that to me that's what that brand of football looks like. If you've watched the Ravens play, that's how they've played for the last 20 years, and that's in the DNA of Coach McDonald. So that to me is where that starts. It starts on defense, and it starts on playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Who's your favorite player on this Padres team?
Oh, Jackson Merrill, not even close. I mean, I love all these guys, but Jackson Merrill, for a 21-year-old kid, to be as mature and as poised, especially in big moments with all the game tying and go-ahead home runs this year and what he's done in the playoffs. Like, I look at him as a 21-year-old, and I almost want to fast forward when his man muscles come in at 24 to see what this guy's going to do.
Other than Shohei, we'll put him in his own category. Who scares you? Who scares you the most?
With the Dodgers, Shohei. I mean, look, I know Mookie had been terrible, but he's still. I mean, he kind of got going last night. I would not like to see him get heated up a little bit, but I wish Max Muncy could hit 9 times. That would be nice. I would really appreciate that.
DJ gets physically ill like I do. I am sure. Like if they,
it's awful.
yeah.
I didn't eat. I didn't eat one.
Yep.
Who goes to a baseball game and doesn't eat one thing?
I'm just glad to hear, honestly, DJ, I'm
Me.
just glad to hear that there's such a thing as a Padres fan who takes things that seriously.
Oh, God.
I generally think, you're hanging out in
Third in the league in
Encinitas.
attendance. We're third in the league in attendance.
I know, but that doesn't mean you're passionate. You go, you have fun, you hang out in the you have a good time.
You got to get back down here, man.
Yes.
Like, you were down here when Biff Roberts was playing. You got to get out here and see these.
I was down there for Trevor Hoffman. That building was silent for 8 innings. Trevor Hoffman came in, Hell's Bells, and it was the loudest, best environment maybe I've ever been in. It was
You don't understand.
unreal.
The way I grew up, when you went to school in elementary school, you'd say, "Hey, what did you do last night?" "I went to the Padre game." They didn't ask if they won. The question was, "How many hits did Tony have?"
Right.
That's how we grew up.
Unbelievable. DJ, thanks. We'll do it again next week. Appreciate it, man.
See you guys. Bye.
All right, there you go. Daniel Jeremiah, who joins us every Wednesday at 8:30. Brock, we'll come back to some of what he had to say a little bit later. I do want to make sure we have time for Washington Wednesday, which is next, especially fun after a big win over Michigan. That's coming up. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
John Morosi is with us.
I think for the Kraken, the hope is that they stay in this thing long enough and solidly enough, and that Grubauer plays well enough and consistently enough that at the deadline they can add some more scoring from teams that are selling. They cannot score with Edmonton right now. They just can't. But they're a solid team, and with good goaltending, they'll be able to compete for a playoff spot and keep themselves in it long enough to use some of their assets.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. With Floor Coverings International, the mobile flooring showroom comes to you. Book an appointment, pick out the flooring you like, and they'll order and install it for you. It's that easy. Visit FCIFloors.com to book an appointment. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
So, what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory, well, it goes to Mike. Hey, Mike, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I moved here from New York City and found this great guy. It got pricey, but because he was good to us over the years, we stayed loyal to him. But then one day I got an increase that was quite unacceptable. So I made one phone call. I didn't do any shopping. My wife told me to call First Mark.
Mike, were they able to save you and your family money?
Oh, yes. It was over $100 a month.
What would you tell others they can expect when they call First Mark?
The most competitive pricing that you can find. And they had terrific customer service. Even if you're on the phone with them, you can tell they have a smile on their face, so you can tell they love what they're doing.
Do you wish you would have made that call earlier?
I was just kicking myself as you were speaking because I didn't do it sooner.
Well, you just heard. Mike did it. My family did it. You got to do it too. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. That's firstmarkinsurance.com.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Washington Wednesdays. Brought to you by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Washington Wednesday, a whole lot more fun when you win, a whole lot more fun when you beat Michigan, and then have another pretty good Big Ten battle against Iowa on your hands this weekend, Brock.
Sure is. And a little more fun when I'm actually going to get to call that game
How
in
cool
Iowa
is
City,
that?
Iowa. Really, really cool.
That is nice.
That is a fun venue. There are going to be a lot of Husky fans going out to both Happy Valley later in the year, to Penn State on their whiteout, which will be just incredible. I guess is one of the positive trade-offs of this whole Big Ten. It still doesn't make sense. I still see the patch. I still see the logo on the field, and none of it in my mind is like reasonable nor logical. It's nonsensical. But it is what it is, and it's college football, and it's ever shifting.
Yeah, if it was 1 or 2 years, it would be fun. Like, oh, this is just a brief little aside where you get to go visit Iowa and get to go visit Penn State. And can you just tell me a little bit of what Iowa City is like? Like, what is that community like on game day?
Yeah, they're totally into their Hawkeyes, like Wisconsin, like many of these Big Ten towns, like East Lansing, like Ann Arbor, like Happy Valley. Like it is, the lifeblood. Iowa City is pretty diverse, by the way, by far the most liberal city in Iowa. And it's got, it's on campus, and Iowa is a pretty good academic school. And, it's got a lot of different eccentricities. Is that the word? Yeah. And it's not Ames. It's not Des Moines. It's not Cedar Rapids. It's kind of a little bit like Missoula in Montana. Right, it's got a little bit of that kind of college feel, and then the fans.
Iowa State, I assume, is sort of similar to Missoula versus Bozeman.
A little bit.
Eugene versus Corvallis.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's not as distinct as Seattle versus Pullman,
course, but the same sorts of vibes.
Same vibes, and yet the football fans do come from all over. Right, they do come from the really small towns, and they come into that place and they just pack it out. It's phenomenal. The Children's Hospital is right there. The wave they do at the end of the first quarter with the children's patients waving to the players on the field and waving back absolutely gets you every single time. Me just saying it kind of hits me and strikes me. So just a phenomenal place. Very much to me like the Steelers, to be quite honest with you. And back in the day, old Hayden Fry. In many ways, the uniforms, he wanted them to look like the Steelers, the black and the yellow and the stripe. And if you've never thought about it, when you watch a game, you'd be like, whoa, That really is the Steelers. Their brand of ball is the Steelers. They play a tremendous defense. They're unapologetic about it. They run the football. They shorten the game. It comes down to a few plays here or there. They're not very dynamic. The Steelers much more dynamic with speed and athleticism. They're not terribly dynamic, but they know who they are, and they're going to be a tough out. So that is coming up Saturday. But before we get to that, let's quickly just look back. Give me cut number 18 here from Jed Fish. Because, Salk, I do think the environment played a significant role. Husky Stadium in itself coming to life last Saturday night did play a role in that win over Michigan.
Fantastic win for the University of Washington. I want to start off right off the bat thanking our fans. Our student section were there early. They were at the dog walk. They were loading the stands. And then, obviously, all of our fans were in full force tonight. And what an awesome place. It was a dream of mine. To be able to have a chance to play in an environment like this, and to have that environment was just special.
And to be able to channel it, as DJ said, right? The players felt that, felt the emotion, and then the play on the field kind of fed the emotion right back, and it was back and forth, and it was tremendous. Jim Lambright used to say, boys, when we walk out that tunnel, you've got a 6-point advantage. If you can channel these fans and you can get them going, and that noise and that chaos and the false starts it creates and the discombobulation and communication that happens, we've got a big advantage here. And I thought they took advantage of it. Now they're going to go into a similar place this week, the most difficult, tougher than Piscataway, tougher than Lumen Field, which was kind of a neutral environment anyway. This will be their first real, like, holy heck, I can't hear myself think. And on top of it, you've got an opponent, as I said, that knows themselves. Cut number 23 for Jed Fish and his staff. They know this will be the first real foray, especially on the road, into serious Big Ten football.
As I've said before, we are not in the Pac-12 any longer. This is not the same type of opponents. This is not the same type of football. These games are not 49, 45, 42, 37, whatever they used to be. You're not going to find those games very often here in the Big Ten. So it's a game of physicality. It's a game of defense. It's a game of running the football. It's a game of making plays when they present themselves. It's a game of matchups. And in this case, there was an opportunity for us to set the tone on how we wanted to play the game of football. And we thought Voy would be a great guy to help create that identity for us.
That's one of my favorite things I've heard from Jed Fish.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy that cut.
Yep.
I was excited for you to play it here because I really do enjoy that willingness to talk through the differences between where you were and where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not going to be the wide open, offensive minded Pac-12.
Yep.
It is a physical, nasty, in a phone booth kind of affair that you should expect out of the Big Ten.
Iowa has in their entire two deep, Salk. I got my board in front of me. It's one of the notes I was looking at last night, reading bios and stories and different things. Out of their entire two deep offense and defense, they have 4 transfers. That's it. Washington has 23, including 4 offensive linemen.
Wow.
I mean, it's just it is know thyself. It's the longest tenured guy in college football. Kirk Ferentz, his 26th season there. They're homegrown. They remind me a little bit, this right tackle especially is like the most emblematic Iowa kid ever. Small town farm boy. And he reminds me, and just watching them come out of the huddle, watching them come off the football. Do you remember the movie with Russell Crowe, Cinderella Man, the boxing movie during the Depression? And he was this underdog. And this is not Washington. They got some big physical guys themselves. But it kind of reminds me of when he had to fight the heavyweight champ and the guy that literally killed somebody in the ring. And it was just this big, bad, and he just came at you. He came out of the corner and he just kind of stomped and just threw these haymakers. And that's what Iowa does. Like these big, physical.
They get a good tight end.
They have a good tight end, yeah.
Of
Luke
course
Lachey.
They only have. What do you mean they only have one good tight end? That doesn't sound like Iowa.
Oh, no. They got a fullback from Dordt University, one of their 4 transfers named Hayden Large.
Yep.
Yeah, from Dordt.
That sounds like an Iowa guy.
Yeah, it's pretty much Iowa.
Hayden Large?
Hayden Large.
Large.
6'5", 250 fullback.
Get out of here. You're making that up. They got a guy named Hayden Large who's their fullback, and he's 6'6", 250?
Do these sound like Iowa names? Mason Richmond, left tackle, 44 starts. Bo Stevens, left guard, 16 starts. Logan Jones, 31 starts. Connor Colby, like the cheese, 40 starts. And then my boy, the big redhead from Lena, Illinois, Jennings Dunker. I mean, just farm boys, just big, physical farm boys. And you know what, Huskies? Be ready to go. And they'll have a great chance. Game started as a 1-point spread. It's about 2.5. It's going to be a field goal. Gross Grady's got to make kicks. You're going to have to make kicks. And, when you get a throw and Denzel Boston gets behind him, you can't miss it because you don't get 10 of them. This is not the Pac-12. You get 1 or 2 shots and you got to hit them. And you're going to have to hit him in that place. It's been a pretty hard place to win for many opponents.
All right, there you go. That is today's Washington Wednesday. Getting ready for a game that Brock will call on Fox. It's that's the big noon kickoff.
Yeah,
right?
It's the early 9 a.m., man. 9 a.m., 11 a.m. local, so 9 a.m.
Sheesh.
Pacific time. So you may be able to even get up and watch that one a little bit.
Let me see. Saturday at 9 a.m. Let me see
Saturday,
if that's a possibility.
Get
for
the
me
donuts
this
with
week.
the kids. Come up, watch Hammerhead, have a little good open.
No, we got a hockey game at 10. Yeah, I got to be there at 9 for a 10 o'clock hockey game.
Okay, all right.
Unfortunately, we've got hockey, and then we've got basketball, and then we've got soccer, and then would love to. Sounds like fun. Unfortunately, that won't be me this Saturday. We'll come back. Give you guys everything you actually need to know next. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Thursday night football.
The ball pops out. Coming to the near side is Jenkins. He's coming down the field.
The Seahawks have a short week to prepare for their first divisional matchup.
He's going to skip to Ballou, my darling. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Tomorrow night, the Seahawks take on the 49ers at Lumen Field.
And nobody saw Gino take off and run, and he goes for 32 and a first down.
Kickoff at 5:15. Pre-game coverage starting at 2 on your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
In the Pacific Northwest, choose Star Rentals for construction equipment. With 18 locations, they deliver superior service and unmatched follow-through. Visit starrentals.com. Star Rentals, the preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Upgrade your furnace or heat pump with Home Comfort Alliance, and for a limited time, save up to $4,000 in combined rebates, or enjoy 12 months same as cash, no interest financing on a new Lennox system. Call the comfort people. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street in a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
The biggest and the best in the Northwest is now bigger and better. Hey, it's your boy Cliff Averill. Michael Shoot Casino Resort is all about what you do. If what you love is solving mysteries over a gourmet meal, then come out to Michael Shoot for a Taste of Deception, Friday, October 11th through the 13th, with 2 shows on Saturday. Can you find the clues and solve this whodunit? Get your tickets for a Taste of Deception at MuckleshootCasino.com. Michael Shoot Casino is what you do. Please game responsibly.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's winds blowing across a fruited plain, and also your new fire pit, which simply sets your gazebo ablaze. It's hard-hitting football, and an even harder-hitting price estimate from your general contractor. That's a star-spangled bummer. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Message and data rates may apply.
Breaking news. Contrary to popular belief, now is the perfect time to break into real estate. Educated investors everywhere are buying tax lien properties, something big banks have been doing for years. Now, people in your area can take advantage of this open secret. Tax Lien Wealth Builders is coming to Seattle this weekend for a live event where you learn how you can make real money buying and selling government-backed investment properties for 50 to 70% below market value. Learn how to buy and sell property and navigate the market like a pro at our 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle this weekend. Tax Lien Wealth Builders gives you the tools you need to invest confidently. Get a free wealth building kit when you register and attend a 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle. Text WEALTH to 52346. Hurry. With high demand, seats will fill up. Text WEALTH to 52346. Get a free wealth building kit now. Text WEALTH to 52346.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
Lab-grown diamonds might be new to retail, but not to Cantor Diamond. Hi, Diamond Dave Cantor of Cantor Diamond. And even though I'm a fourth-generation natural diamond importer, I was the first to import these gorgeous, eco-friendly, low-carbon footprint, conflict-free, real and genuine diamonds to the West Coast. And unlike everyone who's recently gotten on the lab-grown bandwagon, we work with the largest growers in the world to bring you the best possible diamonds at the lowest possible price. We know what to import and what to reject. And because we're importing direct, working in our low overhead wholesale offices and making our own rings, bracelets, and earrings in our own facility, we can offer better pricing than anyone. So work with the leader, not the followers, and let us find you the perfect cultivated diamond for less, a lot less.
Call Cantor Diamond at 253-272-7007. That's 253-272-7007. Or follow them on Instagram at KANTOR Diamond.
West Coast Men's Health has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease using acoustic wave therapy. No pills and no shots. But it's not our success stories that separate us from the other clinics. It's how we interact with our patients. From your first call, our medical staff will take the time to answer your questions, whether it's about your ED, how our treatment works, or even about the cost. Our goal is to inform and educate you so you're comfortable when you come in for your first visit. So if you're tired of frustrating nights, you're ready to get off Viagra and put an end to your ED or Peyronie's disease, stop living with this problem and do something about it. Give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Seahawks take on the Niners tomorrow night, Thursday night football, first division matchup of the Mike McDonald era. Looking forward to seeing what that looks like. It's a huge rivalry.
We know how big this rivalry is. These are, predominantly two of the better teams in the league over the past 10 years, and it's always going to be a slugfest. And so, like I said, we respect those guys. They have some great players on their side, and they're proven. And, as far as we go, we've proven ourselves as well. But it's a big-time matchup. It's a big-time matchup, great players all over the field. And, a lot to be excited for.
Gino's right about all of that. And one of those great players on the Seahawks side of the field is their running back, Ken Walker, who just didn't get to touch the ball enough on Sunday against the Giants. Yesterday, Ryan Grubb in his press conference took full responsibility for that.
Got to get the ball to Ken more. And I think we had plenty of run game in the plan. Didn't have anything to do with not having enough calls for that. Just didn't get it called. And for us, we leaned on the wrong thing. And I think if we get Ken 10 more touches, 15 more touches, things are going to look different. So that's 100% on me, and my job is to make sure I get all our guys in the best position possible to win the game, and I didn't do that.
Leaned on the wrong thing. Leaned on spreading it out, leaned on throwing first, throwing to open up the run instead of, a little bit of that run. And it can be creative run. It's not just line it up and hand it off, and here's 2 yards, and here's 2 yards, and now it's 3rd and 6. That's not the world you want to live in. I love the way he expressed that there at the end, that being Ryan Grubb with touches. We've just got to get him touches. And the more touches he gets in space or in one-on-one situations, the better for the Seattle Seahawks. And tomorrow night, that will be a premium because Armstead, Bosa, Fred Warner, the challenges because those guys stop the run on the way to the passer. They are downhill. And you let them play downhill, you're going to be in for a long night, as you've been the last 5 times you matched up with them. If you can dictate, if you can get them on their heels, if you can present issues and problems in space and get Ken in space, advantage Seattle Seahawks.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Watched the Kraken game yesterday. Actually got to go to the game, which was fun. And I thought they looked pretty good.
Was there anything in their style? And I know it's one slice of 82, so I'm not asking you to jump to grand conclusions. But just like we talk about the scheme in the NFL and this, and controlling the zone and philosophy, is there anything new with the new staff?
I didn't see anything yesterday that I would say was flat new.
Yeah.
Watching their preseason game, I thought maybe, and I didn't get to see all of it, but I thought maybe I saw a little bit of change on the power play and the way they were running it.
Okay.
But I don't know whether they didn't have a power play.
Beniers, Shane Wright, any of your young studs yesterday?
He looks big. Like, it's nice to see him out there. He doesn't look, I mean, he's young, but he doesn't look overwhelmed. I thought he looked pretty good yesterday. Beniers looked fine. I mean, like, he just sort of does Matty Beniers things. Like, he's a good player. He's solid in all 3 zones, but he doesn't take over the game at any point, which is what, the best top-line centers in the league do, and he's not going to be on that list.
Does the speed and movement of that game look any different than Cecily's game?
A little bit.
Saturday morning?
Yeah, there's a little difference.
A little faster?
Yeah, it's a little quicker than the game will be at on Saturday. Anyway, they scored twice, then gave up 3 in a row, all in a 2-minute span. First goal, all right, first goal was a good goal. You got to tip your cap. Second goal, that's a soft goal by Philip Grubauer, who gives up too many of those for my liking. And the third goal was a defensive lapse that allowed them to walk right in on a breakaway. So good goal, bad goal, good goal, soft goal, bad goal. You can't have that in a 2-minute stretch, and I'm sure that's something that Dan Bilesma, their new head coach, will be working on, along with his assistant, Jessica Campbell, who yesterday got a huge ovation as she became the first woman ever behind the bench as an assistant for an NHL game, and she'll be there for the rest of the season. ESPN Stormy Buonantony, excuse me.
Buonantony.
Stormy Buonantony gave a little report during the game on that moment.
History being made today as Jessica Campbell makes her regular season debut behind the bench as the first ever full-time assistant coach in the NHL. And I think head coach Dan Bilesma said it best. While it is monumental to see a woman behind the bench in the NHL, he was just trying to hire the best coach, and that was Jessica. She started playing college hockey at Cornell before winning multiple medals in international play with Team Canada. She worked her way up as a coach, eventually landing in the AHL's Coachella Valley alongside Bilesma, and she has said while she is honored to be the first, she does not plan on being the last, gentlemen.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, it's a good line, right? And by all accounts, she was either going to be the assistant coach here or the head coach in the AHL for Coachella. She ends up here with Dan Bilesma, and should be an interesting season. Jordan Eberle announced just before the game that he will wear the Captain C this year, the first time they've had a captain since the beginning of their first introductory season when Giordano wore the C.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
The Mets, Grimace, Brock, good luck. It's hard to deal with that combined power of the Mets and Grimace. They win yesterday, just dominated Philadelphia, right? Which is just crazy. They beat up on Aaron Nola. They beat up on the bullpen. Sean Manaea had a really nice outing. If you ask me who's better, Aaron Nola or Sean Manaea, it really wouldn't be much of a question. I'll take Aaron Nola every day of the week and twice on Sunday, but the Mets have the big mo. They've got momentum, and they're feeding off the fan base. They're feeding off of Grimace, and they win again yesterday. They're a game away. They're a win away from being in the NLCS.
And all 4 get to play today, which will be
awesome.
Just tremendous viewing. It never happened in baseball in this round where all the series were 1-1. I'm going to guess never imagine they were all 2-2. Which would be kind of fun if that were able to work itself out.
That would be pretty remarkable to see if that ended up happening. There you go. That is everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Padres win last night as well. They beat the Dodgers, and so they are up 2-1 in that series.
It's nice to know DJ is exactly like I am as a baseball fan. Just can't eat. Like if it was a playoff game, I mean, I just, honestly, like it the same level of, I don't know. I didn't want to ask him if he gets in a horse stance, because if it goes that far, then we got problems.
And let's hope he doesn't. I mean, the horse stance is bad. Nobody likes you when you're in your horse stance.
Yeah.
Do they?
No, not really.
I mean, your family generally doesn't want to be seen with you when you're in the horse stance.
No, gets in the loud clap, you know, just obnoxiously loud, really loud clap. So But there's the same just irrational emotion that Daniel has growing up down there in Southern California around his team that I have with these Mariners.
A lot of texts wondering whether or not Mora will be heading to Iowa for the game this weekend. Mora, any chance you'll be heading to your favorite vacation spot to go see the Huskies?
Not this weekend, no.
Have you been to Iowa City? Has that been? Did they have a nice beach there or anything that you've taken advantage of in the past?
I did not go to Iowa City, no.
Will it be 75 and sunny in Iowa on
Will it be?
Saturday morning? Yes, it will.
Oh, that sounds pretty
I'm
nice.
in an absolutely glorious morning.
Wow.
Maybe I will need to look into tickets.
Yes.
This all right. We'll come back. Mora I had some corn jokes that really just weren't worth making, so we're just gonna move it along. Mora put together 2 or 3 pieces of sound, Brock. I played you the cowherd one already, but I got 2 others that I want to run by you before we get to mean tweets. Lyle and Mora were working diligently
mean
behind the
tweets?
scenes. Yes.
Really?
Yep. We've got mean tweets. Brock, that's right. It's all coming up next. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
A short week, right? They have 3 games in 11 days.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
360 says Bump. Just a few tweaks here and there, and they're 5-0. No time to panic. I don't think anyone's panicking. You're not going to go undefeated. You're going to lose minimum 4 to 6 games. Typically, an NFL team loses. But when you drop 2 in a row, you have to search for answers. I think against the Detroit Lions, better offensive line, you're missing a whole bunch of guys on the defense. Adjustments will be made.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Never, ever good to assume in sport, never good to assume in life, not good to assume in business, nor with your insurance. And I know that's what many of us do. It's what Molly and I did for years. I just am assuming that this is the best rate I can get. I'm assuming that I've got everything covered. Well, that is where First Mark Insurance and the First Mark Insurance Challenge comes into play. Molly and I heard so many of these First Mark Challenge victories that save people so much money. We finally decided no more assumptions. Let's let our teammate do the job. And here's how First Mark goes to work for you. They will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. And oh, by the way, if you got the right coverage at the right price, they'll tell you that too. But more than likely you don't. And that's where they go to the market, dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit. That is it. There's no stress. There's no confusion. There's no more assumptions being made. First Mark's your teammate doing the work for you. And they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families, including mine, successfully manage this complicated world of insurance. So don't wait a morning longer. Take the First Mark Challenge today. And did I mention it's totally free? And you might be the next First Mark Challenge victor. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Your teammate that goes to work for you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now. And AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
If you haven't heard yet, Toyota's Camry called an audible with the brand new hybrid 2025 Camry. And at Toyota of Kirkland, they're excited to put it in play. Backed by the lifetime powertrain warranty, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive so you can take home that 2025 hybrid Camry the same day. Come check it out at the amazing showroom at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien.
4 down territory, going inside the game. What Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 10/13/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Get ready, because it's here, now. One of the biggest heavy equipment and truck auctions of the year. Produced by the Murphy Auction Company, this 3-day event features a huge assortment of heavy equipment, heavy trucks, cars, vans, SUVs, and tools, like 5 Cat 140H graders, 9 telescopic forklifts, 13 diesel-powered excavators, 6 wheel loaders, 3 skid steer loaders, and a 2009 John Deere 850J dozer. Also find 4 Peterbilt 365 Super Solo dump trucks, 1 Mack Super Solo, and 15 other dump trucks. If you need a tractor or a Vector, we got those as well. And for homeowners, if you're looking for a gas-powered excavator or wheel loader, we got over 140 to choose from. For contractors, builders, heavy equipment operators, and homeowners, this is the auction not to miss. Visit murphyauction.com for all details. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Kind of a grumpy text line today.
Yeah?
Yeah. Grumpier than normal. I don't know what's going on with. I mean, Seahawks lost 2 in a row. That's probably
watching
part of it.
playoff baseball and your team's not in it. That stinks. The Kraken give up 3 goals in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That stinks.
Yeah, kind of a grumpy text line.
Yeah.
I was, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised when you say all of that, but just, kind of a lot of grumpiness there on the text line today. So, yeah. Anyway, maybe
winning cures all, Salk. I know that.
does.
If the Seahawks win and they're 4-2 and the Niners are 2-4 and you got a 3-game lead on them in the division and everything else, that text toy on Friday gonna be humming.
How important a win
joy.
do you think this is for Mike McDonald?
Ooh, I think it'd be pretty darn crucial. Yeah, it feels like what do they do? Crucial catch, or they have some turn. It would be pretty darn big in cementing that principle, especially if you do it the way that Daniel talked about, DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you actually get after him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what was so frustrating about Sunday too. It's like, man, the Giants got after you. And I know it piled on at the end with a couple sacks, but 7 sacks. And you felt that pocket around Geno constantly, friction and a constant challenge. And he manipulated a few times and got out, made some great plays. But just as far as like imposing your will, they totally imposed their will. And the Seahawks just did not. How many times did they just make life miserable for Daniel Jones?
They didn't at all.
Not many.
I mean, his life was very comfortable, to be
Super
honest.
comfortable. He could get the ball out. He had, how many times was that first target? And most of the time it was Trey Brown getting targeted. Like, that's open, that's open, that's open, that's open.
Yeah, it's interesting, though. I mean, you and I, our minds are kind of going in different directions a little on this, although I think we both agree it's a really big game for this team and specifically for this coach. You seem to keep coming back to some of the scheme related and
it's just a physical will. it's just early on, that opening game against Denver. And I know it was a rookie quarterback and everything else, but guys were just flying and they were so physical, and it was like a reckless abandon, and they were pressing and just, you kind of like.
I'll ask a dumb question then, and this is a dumb question. I'm not asking this because it's not a leading question. It's a real question. Is there any relationship between some of that diminishing over the last few games and some of the injuries which have gone up in the last few games and the fact that they do practice as hard and tackle every day the way he says they do?
Mm-hmm.
Is that? I mean, look,
they
I
don't
tend
tackle.
to want those types of things, but
Yes. Yeah, about the sustainability of it. Can you play at that level? Can you sustain the fit? I mean, the answer is yes. Baltimore's done it. Baltimore's done it for 20 years, as Daniel Jeremiah said, and that is exactly where he was incubated. So I've seen it done before. I know it can be done, but will there be maybe some growing pains this year? Could be. Yeah, there could be. And do the injuries matter? Yeah, they absolutely do, because you kind of need your war daddies. You kind of need those guys to.
Right. I guess what I was wondering is, does some of the hard practicing lead, or is that related to any of to the number of injuries?
It can, and yet there's a walkthrough last Wednesday, walkthroughs this week, so it's not as if they're in.
I tend to think it's not. I mean, I'm asking the question, but I tend to answer it with a no.
You know what Iowa does? Moving Monday, tackle Tuesday, whack 'em Wednesday.
Wow.
That's what Iowa does every single week.
Moving Monday, tackle Tuesday. I get tackle Tuesday.
Whack 'em Wednesday.
What is that like about the
full
ball?
Pats. Just full pad, and you're hitting, and it's one-on-ones, and it's live, and not live to the ground, but it is full speed, and they do it every single week, and you get calloused, and you learn this is how we do it. And there's absolutely some learning curve for these guys that they're climbing, Salk, that haven't been used to this. There's certainly a ton of new faces that are all getting used to it. But yeah, I hope on that first 3rd and 7 screen Thursday night that we actually see people around that ball and then actually lay the wood and bring the hammer. And that Coach K on that sideline is like, dang, they got some sack masters. Right? Because we had screen masters. We had some screen masters early, and those kind of dissipated the last couple games. So got to see a whole lot more of that juice tomorrow night.
I'm curious how he handles, a losing streak, and that, much more of a big picture conversation than some of the specifics of this roster and how this roster handles things. Like, yeah, all right, we'll find out. But, big picture, this guy was brought in, Mike McDonald, as a culture changer and as the next sort of version of what the Seahawks are going to be built around. It's easy to do that stuff when you're winning. 2 games, 2 that they've dropped now in a row. This is his first real opportunity to deal with adversity, and I can't wait to see how he does it. Do I think he'll do well? Yeah, I do. I think he's a pretty sharp guy. I think he's been preparing for this. I think he's watched other coaches who've done incredibly well with this, and not just one. He's been with both Harbaughs. He's been around a bunch of other coaches who know what they're doing. And everything about his personality tells me that he's going to remain consistent, that he's going to remain confident, that he is going to make the right adjustments without giving up on any of his principal core beliefs. But how he does it and how that's taken by the rest of the locker room, that's an enormous deal.
Yeah, and this is where some of those methodologies come into play, not principles. Give me cut 14. This is Wyman. Maura cut this the other day, and we meant to get to it, and I totally hijacked the segment with baseball talk. But Dave Wyman making a really astute point here about, 4 games. About 4 games of evidence is a pretty big marker in an NFL season. Here was the old linebacker talking about it.
It's really that they kind of expose some things, and here's what happens. You get into like this part of the season, and especially against a new coaching staff, you start to kind of figure out some things, and counter, and we'll get to the special team part later, but there's coaches that are sitting in rooms, in dark rooms, watching film and cataloging all of the things that, these tendencies, and I think we can get them here, and I think we can get them there. And that goes on every week with every team.
It's like 40 games of a baseball season. Do you learn about a baseball team in 10 games or 20 games, 30? Nope. You kind of need 40 to 50 games is usually what they look at in the NFL and in college football and high school. It's kind of the same deal. 1 game tape, okay, I see a bit. 2, there's a trend. By the time you get to 3 or 4 games and that body of work, Salk, you start to see, okay, this is how they want to play it. This is what they want to do. And I know one of the other cuts that we want to get to, Robert Mays and Derek Klassen talking about, because Mike McDonald mentioned the linebacker struggles and some of the scheme and some of the tendencies they played. And this, too, will come to life tomorrow night. Here was those two talking about, well, the second-level struggles.
That's the one thing that I think that even I wasn't really considering it in these terms when I was watching them against the Lions last week. When you're trying to defend the run out of too high, you're going to be missing a gap, right? Like that's the nature of it. Somebody's going to have to play two gaps. And the way that they're doing it, they're asking their linebackers to kind of read from one gap to the other. And if you don't have linebackers who are really, really good, there are guys who just can't handle that. Last week, it was like Tyrese Knight. He's a rookie. It makes sense why he was struggling. But to see the starting linebackers, quote unquote, fall into some of the sort of the same issues where you're putting a lot on them and they're just not equipped to deal with it, that's a concern that I think that you should be worried about moving forward with this team.
And then what also fell into that, Salk, was Rayshon Jenkins. And Coach talked about guys being beat up. He's playing with one hand. So his inability to grab cloth can be a great tackler.
Can we go a little deeper on that? I want to ask you some follow-up questions on what he said there. So two high safeties, right? That's the thing in the NFL right now to make sure that you're not getting beat deep. That's why so much of the passing yardage and the touchdowns through the air are all down over the last year or so. That's been the combat to so much of the incredible offense that we've seen through the air in the last
and
decade.
I like you say two safeties because it's not just cover two. It's two safeties. They can play shell coverage. They can play quarters coverage. They can play some cover two. But, yes, keeping kind of two safeties back there to give that umbrella shell coverage.
So the disadvantage to that for a defense is that you don't have another guy in the box, right? You only have at most, 7 in the box?
Yeah, it depends, again, on personnel, formation, all the stuff the offense is doing to dictate those numbers.
But in theory, what he's saying is you're going to be down a man in the box.
Yeah, you don't have Cam Chancellor lingering at, in the curl zone at 6 to 8 yards.
When you have that, you can put somebody in every gap, and then everyone just has to, have their own gap integrity, and they're fine.
Win. Yep.
But what he's saying now is you're going to be one gap short. So I would assume there are multiple ways you can deal with being one gap short.
Yeah. Yep. And that means your guys up front have to stay super square. That means your 2D tackles have to eat up those three guys, right? Have to play those gaps, play them really strong so those linebackers can read and react to some of the other spots. And that has been some of the challenge. It's just that recognition, that processing, that read and react to then take that right angle. And, oh, by the way, this team that's coming in here is fully versed at it, right? Kyle Shanahan's going to watch that Detroit tape and go, that's awesome. Run play action is what we do. My fear is that he has been kind of flirting to try to do a few more things and do some drop back game. And it's like, forget that, man. We got to win this game. We lost 3 in a row, and we are not losing to Mike McDonald. We're not losing to the Seahawks. We're not losing in the division. We're not no way. So you will see a run play action screen game. You will see exactly what you've seen the last 2 weeks. And you're gonna pick on Trey Brown or Nehemiah Pritchett. You're gonna pick on these linebackers to make sure that they do process and read and react. Like, man, no one. How many times did Mike McDonald say, "No one feels sorry for you"? Like in this league, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, Teo, that you can't lay off that off-speed stuff in Seattle. I'm really sorry, Julio, that I'm going to bust you in and I'm going to throw you away. Like, I'm really sorry. Until you handle it and prove otherwise, you're going to continue to get big doses of it. And unfortunately, I hold Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay in some of the highest esteem. Dable's actually on that list, to Daniel Jeremiah's point. He can be a tremendous play caller. And he was all over it. Obviously, the guy up in Detroit's Ben Johnson's done a really good job. But this dude coming in here tomorrow night, desperate for a win and knowing how to scheme really well, it is going to test on a short week all of those guys' vulnerabilities they put on tape the last 2 weeks.
Who can step up in order to help
protect them a little bit?
Is that a Baker, Dodson, Jenkins thing?
It is. It is maybe, like just as Pritchett played a little bit there for Trey, like competition too. Like, hey, Trey, you got to disrupt the ball, man. You got to get in Juwan Jennings. You can't let him cross your face on slants 4 or 5 times in critical moments. You can't hold and grab when you get beat and move the chains on third downs in really critical moments. So, competition's always a coach's friend to try to motivate and get the most out of them. I don't know. Maybe you see a little Drake. Maybe you see a little Tyrese Knight for Dotson if he's having a hard time, if the game is just moving too fast for him. But unfortunately, those are also 2 younger guys that have not done it much either. So going to be some great challenges with that run and that play pass and that screen.
What a fun game tomorrow night. It really is. I mean, these 2 teams, their matchup, some of the history, the rivalry element of it, throw in, defensive coach, offensive coach who've been going against each other, and some of the reason that McDonald was brought in here to match wits with somebody like Kyle Shanahan.
Al and Kirk better be all over this. They better be all over it. Storylines galore, Al. Storylines galore.
Al should be excited. After some of the duds Al's gotten, Al should be pumped. This game's got everything Al should possibly want. I hope he comes out with a little bit of energy tomorrow night, because this should be right up Al's alley. Hopefully he's eating a good steak. Doesn't he say he likes to go to Japanesa whenever he comes up to Seattle? I remember a whole conversation about that. Yep. And so come on, Al. You should be up for this one tomorrow.
Let's get hyped.
I'm sure if he's not, he will be the recipient of some mean tweets of his own. I don't know whether he's on Twitter, but I'm sure people will be writing about it. Brock had a game this past weekend, and anytime he goes to Eugene, the mean tweets are going to follow.
Eugene.
Brock Huard, bro. Poor man's Andy Dalton announcing the Ducks game. Now let's go live to Brock up in the booth.
Here you go, guys. 4-0. Whatever it takes. Let's get it. Playmakers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Playmakers.
Are you a poor man's Andy Dalton?
That is so messed up.
He's not a poor man's Andy Dalton. He's a poor man's Cade McNown.
That is just messed
Or
up.
Josh McCown. Or Luke McCown.
Me?
I can't get them straight.
Yeah. Can I say this, though? The one thing, can you see this? Shoot.
Not well, no.
Great. Let's see. Oh, there you go. The lighting in the stage in Eugene, phenomenal.
Really?
Doesn't that look like it's almost a fake background?
I mean, yeah, I'm focused on you. You're so red.
What?
You look very red in that picture.
I do not.
You do.
Stop it.
Yeah. Red-faced. Like the Joker.
Maybe that's why I'm the Andy Dalton?
Maybe, yeah. Okay. Maybe the red face made him think of the red hair, and all of a sudden you became the red rifle. Yeah.
Okay. Poor man's.
Playmakers.
Maybe before next game, Fox can make @Brock Huard actually read up on both teams to see what's going on. Maybe see if the offensive line for one of the teams is decimated with injuries.
Yeah, Brock, that's a good point. Why don't you do any research before these games?
Maura, did you plug your nose when you did that one? How did you do that?
I don't know what I did. It's an artistic process. I black out.
Sort of a bookwormy thing.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you do any research? What's up with that? You just show up, you parachute in, you don't do any research for the games?
That's right.
It's kind of lame. It's not like, I kind of want to respect you, but if you're not going to do any research for these games.
Do you know what I was doing at 11:15 last night? Jeff Bechtold, the wonderful SID at the University of Washington, does a great job. He sends you the pronunciations of every player. Some teams do it with the players doing it. He does it himself. It makes it so much more efficient after it's like a minute and a half. And so what was I doing last night?
Memorizing them?
Pretty much. Voy tuna ufi.
509 says no. Brock's a poor man's Damon Huard.
Alfonso Tupatala. There's one I got to really get right. The new center. Because it's Titi.
Yeah.
ALI. Yeah, got to make sure I get that one right.
Yeah.
That it's
Don't screw that up.
Titi Ali.
Okay.
All right. Enough of that.
Sorry,
this one was a 3 people responding to each other, so we tried our best.
Round robin.
Wah, that is not clean, Brock Huard. Shut the up.
Whoa.
It was late for sure. What an insane call.
He's so insufferably stupid.
People were really mad that you thought a play was clean. There was a lot of those.
Dylan Gabriel got his clock cleaned. Woo!
Was it clean?
It was totally clean. And it was totally not late. And he got the wind knocked right out of his lungs. And I felt that before. But you scramble out of the pocket, hold on the ball, throw it deep. Those linemen can tee off on you in one step. And did they ever?
The insufferable Brock Huard on the call tonight. Here's the me screaming, Brock, all night.
A little southern, a little new accent.
Yeah, I like that. Good work.
Guy looked a little southern.
Did he?
Little
Do you
bit.
study? I know that's what Boy Howdy used to do. The originator of Mean Tweets. He was a theatrical guy.
Something.
He was a drama guy at SPU, and he would study. He would go into these Twitter feeds and really study and want to get to know the character so he could unleash.
He was a method actor.
Total method actor.
Brock Huard has been wrong about a great many things over his career as a commentator. But I don't think he's ever said anything as wrong or dumb as when he just now said, Onset Stadium has a phenomenal sound system.
There's vocal fry on that, too. Why is that so wrong? Does it not have a phenomenal?
It is phenomenal.
Really? I mean, I would expect it to with all the Nike money.
Nike and Phil understand marketing.
Right.
And I'm telling you, their marketing machine from pregame Salk, at the end of the first quarter, they do this like organ through the years and they play some, it moves you. It moves the water, as I like to say. Third quarter, they do their shout, moves the water. Their music pregame, it goes, you got rock, you got hip hop, you got everything. You got classic rock. Like it.
Yeah, rock and hip hop. Brock doesn't know anything else, but those are the two things they've got.
Classic
Travel enough,
rock,
I would think that you
metal.
would know who has the best sound system.
Yeah, that seems like something you should understand.
I mean, I turned to Benetti pregame.
And it's one of the few senses that Brock has.
Yes.
Hearing.
Turn to Benetti pregame. He's a music aficionado. He can sing. He can do. He's pretty much brilliant. He's pretty much the most brilliant partner I've ever had. I said, "Is this the best music? It's the best music that we in any stadium we go to, isn't it?" And he absolutely agreed, co-signed. So
I probably would have just disagreed with you on principle.
Yeah.
That's why he
let's
doesn't
see.
talk about how brilliant you are constantly.
No kidding. 206. Mora is so good at these. Lyle really needs to step it up a lot.
Yes.
Still getting called out. I think you're doing a good job. I would disagree with the 206, but Matt in Oregon says, yeah, Salk only respects people who do their own research.
At Brock Huard. Shut it, sucker!
Straight to the point.
Sucker! I like that one.
Yeah, you got it. And maybe, Lyle, you can play around with the sound system and change and slow down your voice. I think that's what that texter's alluding to. Is maybe go into the voice gimmicks you got in there. Speed it up, slow it down, so it's not just your same intonation all the time. That's all. That's all. Just a thought, just a swing thought.
At Brock Huard. Holy cow, man. Try calling a game as a sports commentator for once and not a fanboy. Wipe the
Whoa.
ratings for every game you call must be in the garbage can.
I get scared to even read like bits and pieces of some of these.
Yeah,
I
that
just
one was rough.
leave the whole. Yeah.
Very inappropriate.
Why aren't you more professional, though? I think that's a good question. I found that listening to you, often you just seem to be a fan of at least one of the teams in each game. Why aren't you more professional during calling games?
Fair question.
And why have your ratings been in the garbage can?
Well, over 4 million watched Colorado UCF. That was a good number. And 2.9 million. Oregon attracts eyeballs, man.
Right.
The folks down south in Birmingham, they know they're a threat. Folks in the Rust Belt know they're a threat. So actually the country watches Oregon.
I mean, unless you're doing the game and then the ratings are in the garbage can because you're just a fan. You're just an Oregon fanboy.
Yeah, if he's an Oregon fanboy, I'm sure all the Iowa tweets are going to be totally same this week.
I can't wait.
They're going to be good.
I'm very excited.
The word of the week this week was insufferable. Brock had like 3 or 4 that all mentioned.
Not able to suffer. I'm not able to suffer this sucker. Is that it?
Brock
We done?
Huard is insufferable in games that I don't care about. Listening to him during an MSU beatdown is absolute misery. Insufferable, Brock.
I know.
That's good. I like that one. Was that the last one?
Yeah.
That was a good way to finish. That was a good way to wrap it up.
It's a good strong batch.
Nice job, buddy. Well, Brock will have the Husky game on Saturday, so I'm sure that won't lead to any mean tweets.
Oh no,
from Iowa.
I'm not
sure
biased at all.
Totally sane.
Not biased
when it comes to that. 253
253
says, "I love that Brock is a fan of what he does. People suck. You guys don't. How about that? Oh, that's very nice.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
Okay. Well,
all right.
fanboy, fanboying out.
Is
over
that it?
there.
We good?
I think we're good.
You ready for game day Rawls tomorrow? Like it's game day.
Game day Rawls.
We don't get to do many game days.
Had 2 this week.
Crazy.
2 in the last 2 weeks, anyway.
2 in the last 2 weeks. Yeah. Try to get Herbie on tomorrow. We'll see. We'll work on progress.
You can get Ben on with him. Ben the dog.
Oh, Ben's a good boy. Good boy.
I'd like to interview
I like when Brock pretends that he likes dogs.
No, Ben's a sweetheart.
You're just pretending you like dogs.
Is he a lab or a retriever? What is he?
He's a golden retriever.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Golden retrievers are sweet. Unlike the pit bulls next to me. Okay, is that it? We good?
I think we're done.
Okay, great.
Bob and Stacy are coming up next. Enjoy 4 baseball games today, and we'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Until then, the hay
is in the barn.
See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Seahawks offensive lineman Laken Tomlinson.
What makes a good O-line group? 100% is chemistry, man. You know, you just have a group of guys who just love hanging out with each other, love talking to each other. That communication goes a long way. I mean, you know, the time spent with each other just physically. Me and Charles can go out there. We don't even have to say a word. We just know what each other can do. I can talk to Connor. He can just say his name and he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, like little things like that. That's what's so important with offensive line plays is having that chemistry.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Build better benefits for your employees with the MBA Health Trust. The Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties offers quality and affordable health benefits for local construction businesses. Learn more at mbahealthtrust.com.
Cressy Garage Doors. Make your home unique and stylish. Have it stand out from the other homes in your neighborhood. The #1 return on investment for your home. Cressy Garage Doors. Since 1952.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and as you know, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm honored to partner with the Harnish Auto family and the KIRO Milgar Breast Center in the fight against breast cancer. For every test drive this month, they'll donate $25 on your behalf. Simply visit any of their 6 amazing dealerships, including Subaru, Volkswagen, and Chevy Buick GMC of Puyallup, or Kia and Chevy of Everett. No purchase necessary, just take a spin and make a difference. It's the Harnish Auto family, where people matter.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster that is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-495-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over